I managed to avoid the volatile reaction as the mixing of the liquid catches fire.
Is that why neckbeards always pee in jugs? So it doesn't touch their poo and accidentally catch fire?
Oh, it's awesome. It's like a flamethrower. You know, it's like...
Hello, friends. Trace amounts of science. Today we're checking out another 4chan Greentext story about the Witcher. The urban Witcher. We'll find neckbeards, legbeards, and who knows what else on the hunt. So join me. Did you want to add anything, Yaskier?
Toss a coin to your Witcher, O Valley of Plenty.
Oh yeah, good point. I totally would like a super chat. Anyway, here it comes, be me! Starting to get hungry. Time to hunt.png. Look for signs of prey. Track monster to its lair. Break into house and go to the basement door. Can hear the creature breathing heavily. Horrifying sounds of like someone fistfighting a jar of mayo. They smell of pee and sweat. The scent is so strong it's seeping through the door. Don't even gag anymore because I'm a professional. Apply neckbeard oil to my silver sword and chug a Chad decoction. Lay out the bait. Adult videos and books from the Far East with some Cheeto dust. Rumbling comes from the stairs. The door opens. The beast is nude and covered in pimples. Its dried and fresh seed covers its body. Stark nude except for a Naruto headband. Medium size, of at least 400 pounds. It bends over to pick up its prize. Dingleberries are large on this one. Spring from behind the living room couch. Slash into its flesh, and the creature lets out a mighty... It swings its massive weight around, trying to attack. It's out of its lair. It can't see me yet because the sun is blinding it. Few more slashes. The protective layer of grease is rushing into the wounds to stop the bleeding. The creature hits me with a thrashing blow. The autism-enhanced strength sends me through a wall and into the kitchen. Mommy, bad man, attack me! I made sure the mother was gone before the hunt. The creature is hysterical, rushes at me through the hole it just made. Drywall scraping against its flesh as the hole widens. Shoot it with my hand crossbow. The bolt sinks harmlessly into its flesh. Suddenly feces is flying into the air. My armor's been hit, and it's starting to dissolve. Tear off the pieces as fast as I can. The beast makes it through the hole and rushes me. Time to finish this, .gif. Launch myself off the kitchen sink and behead it in one fluid move. Body collapses to the floor, shaking the entire house. Piss and crap spray everywhere. Enter the neckbeard's lair. Piss bottles and Mountain Dew cans everywhere. What could you be possibly looking for? Leave this place, please! Dojin is just laying out in the open. Fresh mental wounds cut into my mind. Search through the pizza boxes and the spent tissues. This creature's been nesting for a while. Find a 2-foot-high pile of poop socks in the closet.
Yeah, you never collected a poop sock before?
On what the creature surely called a bed is a body pillow. The faded image of Tracer, eclipsed in years of the creature's spent seed, can be seen. Continue my search near the computer area. I finally find it. GBP card is filled to the brim.
Hell yeah, good boy points.
Throw a dancing star bomb into the lair as I leave. Whole house burns down. Go out and order a feast of tendies and honey mussy. Another job well done, Witcher. Serve that man up a double. Keeping our town, neighborhood, community safe. How else should we thank him? And if you don't believe in the value of our Witcher yet, you will with the next story. Sitting at Mickey D's, enjoying some tendies and honey mussy, procured from a stolen good boy points card. Witcher senses warn me of danger. The smell of Funyuns, instant ramen, and despair announce their presence before I can see them. A pack of 4 neckbeards walk inside, all carrying fedoras and trench coats. One's carrying a katana. The others have a staff, nunchucks, and those Chinese hand knife things. Overweight mutant virgin turtles.png.
I really like this a lot. Who was the one that suggested this to me? Johnny Joe Star 2630. I forgot to shout you out earlier, so I'm doing it now.
I finish the last of my nuggies and stand to face them. One of them starts speaking, voice cracking with rage.
Oh, we know who you are. We've traced you here. Prepare to be ended for your crimes against us and our kind.
I'm getting sloppy. I must not have cleaned the stench of my last kill off myself well enough. Neckbeards can track each other's secretions and scents similar to wolves. These ones haven't evolved into nesters yet. They're able to speak in full sentences and can walk in the sunlight like us humans can. Neckbeards in their mid-stage weave form aren't quite as dangerous as they are in their nester forms, but if there are enough of them, then that threat is very real. I tell them, if you know who I am, then you know what's about to happen. I go to reach for my sword. The closest one slices the air with its katana and screeches. It runs towards me. The bulk of the monster's weight lets it crash through the tables and chairs as if they were nothing. Do a flip to the side and unsheath my sword. The momentum the creature has gained is too great for it to stop or turn. It slices into an elderly couple that was sitting right behind me, killing them instantly. At least they didn't suffer, .jpg. The others take their chance while I'm distracted. With a mighty ree, they come at me in a wave. Falling back, I toss a grape shot bomb at the group. The shrapnel embeds in their flesh. One reels back, but the others seem unfazed by the pain. People are screaming and running out the door. Falling back further to the counter, I pull out my crossbow and shoot the one with knives in the leg. The monster falls. One of its blades pierces into its massive man boob. The beast lets out an ear-splitting screech and immediately soils itself.
Down for the count, eh?
The one still charging me raises its staff to strike. My Little Pony keychains swing wildly at the end. I parry at the last second, stepping to the side, letting my blade open the creature's neck. It erupts with corrosive Mountain Dew Code Red and half-digested Doritos as the abomination slams into the counter. An employee who's standing behind the counter is showered in it. There's nothing I can do but listen to their screams as the flesh melts from their bones.
My God, he was only a week away from retirement.
I'm not paying enough attention. The one with the katanas is back in action. A slice from its masterwork maul blade cuts into my side. The pain streaks across my abdomen, and I jump behind the counter. Nunchucks and katanas slash at the air above me. Their bloated forms are too big to follow me directly over the counter. I could feel the counter starting to give in from their pushing and flailing. I reach around in my satchel. I take a pull from my swallow bottle to stem the bleeding, but I can feel something pulsing through my veins. The weeb! He must have put Belle Delphine's gamer girl bathwater on his blades. I'll need to treat this soon, or I'll be dead.
Or at least, herpes.
Oh my God! Your mouth looks like the underside of a boat!
I somersault over the dead employee, standing up as I jam my sword into the ice cream machine and flick my sword at them. The liquid ice cream from the broken machine flies off my blade and goes directly into the katana wielder's eyes. The creature slashes blindly and kills its kin. The ground shakes as it falls to the ground and bursts open like an overfed tick. The smell, it's indescribable. Now is my chance. Throw my silver sword. The tip lands square in its face, pinning it to the wall and killing the abomination. I remove my sword from its skull, and the body slumps forward into the fetid mess the other had left. The last one lays injured on the floor. It says something in Japanese. I start stomping on its head while it speaks. Can't chance getting cursed while poisoned. Its skull caves in. I survey the wild destruction that's taken place, loot all their good boy point cards, and take a fedora as a trophy. Walk out of McDonald's, victorious. Van is parked outside. I can smell their filth on it. One of the Neckbeards' mothers is inside. Wink at her and tip my hat. M'lady. And I walk into the sunset.
Well, that mom might be sad for a little while, but on the long time scale, you saved her a lot of pain and heartache. I think it's a good thing that you did, OP. I mean, it's technically just self-defense at this point, isn't it? Let's check out part 3.
Be me, a witcher. Sustain myself on tendies. Mostly deal with creatures called neckbeards. Steal good boy point cards from them. I need supplies to keep hunting. Ran out of Chad decoction during the last encounter. 600-pound big boy with mommy home. Nearly died. Story for another time, .gif. Chads have a gland on top of their liver that delivers alpha hormones directly into their bloodstream. I need this in order to make Chad decoction with alchemy. The glands need to be potent for it to be most effective. I've passed up on many lesser Chads, but now I found the one. I stalk it for a while. Although there are many types of Chads, this Chad appears to be the focal point of a large group of Stacies, Roasties, and Jocks. The Stacies all service the Chad intimately. The Roasties seek to usurp the Stacies while befriending said Stacies. And the Jocks, of course, feed off of the Chad's leftovers like a pack of wild hyenas. In turn, they boost the Chad's ego, which fuels the magic that alpha gland runs on. It's a simple but aggressive ecosystem. Buy some tendies with my dwindling good boy point supply, and I set my plan into motion. I have to isolate the Chad. I make a fake Instagram profile, load it with pictures of an attractive woman, and I message Chad. It doesn't take long for it to respond. The larger the Chad's ego, the more dangerous it is. However, the easier it is to lure. I tell him that we can meet at a bar to watch the sports ball game, and then we'll totally do it. I cover my scent with Axe body spray to avoid detection. I go into the bar. Use the last of my good boy points to get a drink. Applejuice.png. Lie in wait in a booth in the back. Although there aren't many women in here, I can almost smell them moistening in unison. Ew. The beast approaches. It enters the bar, 7'2", easily 300 pounds of pure muscle, backwards cap and a tap-out shirt on. So many rings adorn its fingers, I can't be sure they aren't made of gold. Its chiseled chin brushes against the door frame and slices a chunk of wood from it. I don't think it even noticed. Old Spice and Dracar Noir seeps into my nostrils. My Witcher physiology keeps a majority of the scent-induced fear at bay. The bar goes quiet from the sheer presence of this creature. Through some witchcraft, the music changes mid-song to dubstep. Something comes in behind him. The Jocks all start filing in, each one wearing a different jersey, all wearing flat-brimmed hats with the price sticker still on them. One is wearing white socks with Nike sandals and baseball shorts. I somehow managed to stifle the urge to vomit. They were not supposed to be here. Looks like I'll have to improvise. The Jocks get the permission nod from the Chad to go and sit at the bar. They do little without prior approval. The Chad sniffs the air. Its senses are keen. It's searching for that promised Punan. Millennia of apex predator evolutions make Chads a lethal foe. Men in the bar shift uncomfortably in their seats as he surveys the area. The women begin to bare their breasts as an offering, and it huffs twice. I can sense the anger beginning to build, engorging the alpha gland with hormones. Its ego has been challenged. The Jocks can smell the hormone change, and they're getting restless as well. They squirm and try to hide their envious priapisms for the women who are offering themselves to this exemplary specimen. I need to think fast before this monster starts killing all the men and doing all the chicks. Suddenly the Chad bellows, "Bro, I think that bitch stood me up!" The jocks reply with a chattering chorus of subsequent bros of their own. They're distracted. I finish my apple juice, throw a Samoon firebomb at the bar. The alcohol catches fire and explodes. Jocks go flying. A few are on fire. The others are stunned. The bartender is a smoking husk. Draw my sword. I leap on a table and sprint across tabletops. Attempt to close the distance between me and my prey. This Chad is more powerful than anticipated. I've underestimated his abilities. The beast notices me right away. In a single motion, it picks up a nearby man with one arm and throws him at me. I take the hit directly to the chest and fly back across the bar. The man, of course, dies upon impact. People scream. Chaos ensues. The sheer force of the throw has broken some of my ribs. It's hard to breathe. I struggle to stand. The jocks are beginning to recover. One charges at me with such reckless abandon that it drops its jewel. I put the lesser being down with a crossbow bolt in the eye. Meanwhile, another, still ablaze, tears the leg off a chair. "What now, you piece of filth?" .jpg. Screaming its fantasy football stats from last year, the creature runs at me, taking a wild swing. I'm able to counter the sloppy blow and cut down the beast with a two-handed slice. The sword sinks into its torso and cleaves it down to the hip. The body slides limply onto the floor, almost peacefully. I pull my sword out of the corpse and ready myself for the next attack. The patrons are beginning to run out of the bar in fear. They're clogging the back door in their panic. My escape plan's now impossible. The worst has yet to come. I didn't kill the Chad in time. It lets out an almighty roar that breaks the remainder of the intact glass inside the bar. Its massive 5-foot dong tearing from its jeans. The girth is unbelievable. The Chad begins swinging it around, and one of the other jocks gets too close. The jock's skull crumples as the gargantuan specimen smashes its head into the wall. The remaining jocks know the fury of that dong, and they cower behind their patriarch. They murmur unintelligible threats from the shelter of his wrath. Skittish and cowardly things. The Chad charges. His skin cannon is obliterating everything in sight. Splinters of wood from tables and chairs, along with the viscera of the dead, joins the smoke in the air. I swiftly load another bolt and fire it directly at the Pebus.
P-E-B-U-S. Pebus. This is some top-tier shitposting, man.
The boat skitters across a vein. It bounces away. I'm hurting bad now. With great effort, I jump as high as I can before its death pipe finishes me for good. I miss its flesh spear, but slam directly onto the Chad's torso. The monster's love organ pierces the bricks, and the entire back wall explodes into the back alley. I soar through the air and land in a pile of rubble. Bodies of those who are trying to escape litter the ground. The Chad, however, still unharmed. His wicked willy swings in the wind as he approaches me. Slowly, the monster leans in to speak to me. The smell of Jaeger bombs, Black and Milds, and stale muff is suffocating. "What, so you catfish me, bro? Huh? What, are you gay or something, bro?" The foolish creature has no idea what it's just done. With a weak breath from my battered body, I was able to complete the spell. "No, you." The Chad's face turns red.
Got him, coach.
Got him!
Its eyes begin to bleed and bulge out of its face. The foul thing's skin begins to blister as it bursts into green and black flame. The Chad begins to roar, louder and louder. I cover my ears so as not to go deaf. The beast's head and its mighty mushroom explode simultaneously. I'm showered with bits of dong amidst a wave of blood. I cough up some blood of my own and stand. Out of fear or delusions of replacing the Chad, The jocks have fled. I cut the Chad open with my hunting knife and retrieve his alpha gland, putting it into my satchel. I take a steep draught from my water bottle. I search the Chad and find its dad's credit card. It'll have to do until I can recover and get some more good boy points. I take his belt buckle as a trophy. BAMF is carved expertly into its precious aluminum. Rain starts to fall. I limp through the downpour, rinsing the Chad blood off of me. I should be okay for now, but I need to get that stench off me before it gets picked up by the roasties. I vanish into the night.
Well, that was an exciting adventure, wasn't it? And now he's refilled his stock of that thing, whatever it does. I'm not sure if he realizes that Daddy's credit card's probably a lot better of a find than the good boy points cards. But I guess when your only subsistence is tendies, yeah, good boy points become a lot more valuable. Anyways, we'll continue on and see what the urban witcher's hunting down next.
I choose to hunt on my terms, for the most part. While scoping out potential prey, I'm solicited by a local comic book shop owner. He says that a nester has been leaving its lair and troubling his magic tournaments with tantrums. He offers me 80 tendies to be rid of it. I say half up front and half later. Stake out at a Wendy's that's close to the strip mall, feasting on tendies with honey mussy. I scarcely needed the description that I was given, of course. A van pulls up to the shop. A 600-pound beast steps out of it. I can hear the relief of the vehicle's suspension system as it exits, but the rest of the tendies in my satchel. As the van leaves the parking lot, I run and jump onto the roof. I'll be waiting for this one when it returns to its lair. I arrive at the house. The mother leaves to go inside. I open a window and slip in undetected. I can hear her gentle sobs as she goes upstairs. The house is clean, but the smell of urine is still detectable in the air. I find the door to the basement. The pungent aroma of spent seed and sweat stings my eyes as I open the door. The mother has let the creature have full run of this basement. Jimmy John's and Taco Bell bags scattered across the floor. Anime posters are plastered all over the walls. There's a bookshelf stocked with manga, doujin, and other Japanese action figures. A Guy Fawkes mask on a hook hangs from the side. There's a picture of the beast and its mother trick-or-treating last year. The mother has an expression of deep defeat etched on her face. It chose a traditional Heath Ledger's Joker, which is common amongst its kind. Various mall ninja weaponry mounted on the walls. There's a sunken and partially broken armchair in front of a flat-screen TV with greasy fingerprints and various consoles. A picnic table with a lone computer, sparsely covered in Doritos, is in the middle of the room. Notice that the basement's been lazily dusted. Take a closer look. The excretion stains in front of the chair seem to have been wiped away. The advanced form of the creature and this level of cleanliness does not add up. There are no pee bottles. I can't smell any fresh fecal matter. Notice a good boy point card on the TV stand. It's empty. They must have all been spent 2 days ago. Says sleepover in the memo line. Hear a car pull up. My heart drops into my stomach. LAN party. I'm out of time. The ceiling shakes with the footsteps of many good boys. Mommy, I'm home. Me and my friends are going to play games. The door opens. Each step bends the boards to their limits. I dive and hide under the bed in the corner. Spent tissues carpet the ground beneath me. Horrifying and foul beyond reason, but they'll mask my scent and perhaps serve as some camouflage. Find a crumpled high school diploma to shield my face from direct contact. They wheeze as they gather around the table. Each drops off its gaming PC, and they begin to hook them up. The horrid smells of body odor and unwashed underwear mix in a putrid harmony. This nester has accumulated non-virtual friends. Social skills at this stage of evolution, however limited, are very rare in these creatures. I risk peeking out from under the bed to see exactly what it is I'm up against. Their stretched XXL t-shirts are bursting at the seam. One has a top knot and a Quiznos t-shirt on. I see one of them has a hoodie decorated with black and white adult anime. My Pepe medallion is humming. This one can wield powerful magic. There's a skinny one with a fresh Attack on Titan tattoo on its calf. From what I can tell, it has just transitioned from autist to weeb. Practically an infant.
It just gets me so good. I can go for long points without laughing, but sometimes the ridiculousness just builds up. I need a break. Okay, here we go again.
The biggest boy, which is my prey, has put on a kimono. The creature is being referred to as Goku by the others. I cringe so hard it's painful. They're giggling and quoting JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. I'm trapped. One can't find a plug for its computer. Goku says that it has an outlet under the bed. I steel myself as the smallest creature volunteers to find it and gets down on the ground. We lock eyes. Before it can react, I stab it in the face with my knife. My blade is stuck and pulls from my hand as the creature thrashes on the ground. Confused noises come from the others. I roll out from under the bed. The caster begins to speak Japanese. Goku rushes to the wall of weaponry. Quiznos is still trying to assess what's happening. I throw a moon dust bomb at the caster. The silver shards pepper its flesh. Its magic is diminished, but it won't last long. Quiznos gains its bearings and rushes me. I jump, using the bed to spring myself higher, and smash the creature in the face with my knee.
I think that's called a flying wizard.
It's wizard time,
Blood gushes from its nose. It falls backwards into the PCs. The monsters screech together at the loss of their only joy in life, their portal for both love and entertainment. Goku retrieves a spear from the wall. The caster's chanting again. I chug the last small mouthful of my Chad decoction. I pull the sword from my back and charge. The caster sends a ball of rancid piss. I duck past the bolt as the conjuration hits the concrete pillar behind me, turning it into molten slag. I raise my blade to strike. The caster lets out a deafening burp. The residual Diet Dr. Pepper singes my hair. The force stuns me, but only for a second. Goku seizes its chance and spears me in the shoulder. My armor absorbs the blow. I still fall over backwards over Quiznos and roll on top of the one that I had stabbed in the face. The creature's wailing and is now shit in its sweatpants. I drop my sword and grip the sides of its face, snap its neck. With a sucking noise, I rip my knife from its face. Goku hasn't made it across the broken PCs to me, at least not yet. I throw my knife at it. Goku manages to partially deflect the throw. The blade lands in the beast's forearm. The resulting screech is being drowned out by chanting. That caster is back to full power. It begins shitting directly into its hands and throwing it at me. I roll behind the remains of the concrete pillar as the corpse of the small one is pierced with spikes made completely out of crap. I can feel the effects of the Chad decoction. I stand and rush once again. Quiznos is back on its feet and is scrambling over the computers towards the weapons. Time slows as I approach the caster. It can sense the temporary alpha aura given to me and hesitates. I run the creature through with my sword. Pee and poo gush out of its shorts. I manage to avoid the volatile reaction as the mixing of the liquid catches fire.
Is that why neckbeards always pee in jugs? So it doesn't touch their poo and accidentally catch fire?
Oh, it's awesome. It's like a flamethrower. You know, it's like.
Sure, why not?
The pool quickly reaches the PCs and starts to burn them. Neckbeard physiology is too chaotic to have predicted this. Quiznos has reached the wall and takes Wolverine claws from it. It turns to face me, bloody snot and tears running down its face. Goku rushes to join the monster's side. The exit is to my right, but I'm cornered by the beasts, and this fire is getting bigger. Quiznos attacks. He takes 2 heavy swipes. I dodge both of them. Without missing a step, I twirl my blade through the air, and it passes through the back of the beast's neck and out the front. The top knot unfurls as the head rolls onto the floor. Goku steps forward and spears me in the sternum. I drop my sword. It leverages its mass and pins me into the corner. I feel hot blood running down my legs. Backlit by the blaze, the monster laughs. Its tits and visible belly jiggle with delight. There's no mercy in this dojo. The Family Guy reference. It causes me to cringe, expediting my blood loss.
There's no mercy in this dojo!
Joe, why don't you take it down a notch?
No mercy!
This is the end. This abomination is fearsome and unyielding. 3 weebs and a nester in its own lair. The odds were never good. Suddenly a voice comes down the stairs. With strained pleasantness it says, "Mommy made our good boy and some friends some cookies." The mother gets to the bottom of the stairs. She drops the cookies on the ground. "What the fuck?" She's cut off by Goku. "I want those cookie bits!" The beast pulls the spear from me, and I slump to the ground. It turns to face its mother in a rage. Turns out it took its underwear off when it changed into the kimono. God, I hope this isn't the last thing I see. .png. The monster is brandishing the bloody spear wildly at its caretaker. This is my last chance. I force myself to stand, keeping as much pressure on my chest as I can. I stumble over to the bookshelf and push it over. It falls into the fire. Goku goes pale. It drops the spear and begins desperately pulling burning manga from the inferno. Its mother is in shock. I need to save myself, but I also have a duty to this world and its inhabitants. I pull out my crossbow and aim at it. With years of expertise, I shoot a bolt directly into the mother's uterus.
Baby factory shut down.
I must sterilize her so that her horrendous mistake can never have a successor. Her cries of agony go unheard by the creature. I run across the room and up the stairs. Outside, I drain my entire bottle of Swallow. The lingering effects of the Chad decoction is the only thing keeping me conscious. Break the window of the van with a rock, hotwire it, and drive away as fast as I can.
Wait, you didn't even burn the nester? Or are you of the opinion that it's going to take care of itself, trying to rescue its naughty books from the fire?
Either way,
A battle won and a van as plunder. Not too bad. We'll continue on into part number 5.
at the grocery store. Been living in this van I stole. Found $50 in the glove box, stocking up on essentials. Nuggies, deodorant, crossbow bolts, etc. Go to the shortest line. Only 2 people ahead of me. Looking forward to some nuggies. Heated up on the van's engine. Even picked up a fancy bottle of good old honey mussy. I hear something.
I'm sorry, but this coupon is expired.
Look to the front. Middle-aged white lady. Can't you make an exception? She's beginning to look irritated. Something doesn't feel right.
I'm sorry, but the system won't let me enter it if it's expired.
The lady opens her mouth. Her jaw unhinges, and her teeth extend into fangs. Her limbs grow, stretch, and twist. Her caffeine is life sweatshirt and yoga pants tear and fall to the ground. Nipples the size of dinner plates. JPEG. Her eyes widen and turn obsidian. Her neck extends out of her torso at least 4 feet. Her angled bob haircut remains perfectly intact. The horror screams, "I want to speak to your manager!" The voice becomes shrill and otherworldly. I've only read about this in my monster manuals. A hellish creature, spawned in the suburbs. A Karen. I draw my silver sword. The cashier runs away. Her gangly form lets her climb over the counter with ease. Running on all fours, she catches him, bites into his torso. The cashier screams rise and fade as he is pulled into the air and fangs pierce his lungs. People in the store scatter like cockroaches. The lady directly in front of me rolls her eyes and walks out the door with her cart. She just stole all that shit. Nice. .gif. Following the creature as quickly as I can, I jump onto her back. With a downward plunge, I stab into her ribs. The smell of Ed Hardy perfume it's just too pungent. I vomit all over her and myself, and I lose my footing. The creature shrieks and bucks me off. I couldn't get my sword out of her. I crash into a produce display. The cashier is dangling limply in her jaws. The creature's arms crack as they bend unnaturally and free the sword, tossing it away. Her mouth opens further as she consumes the corpse. His entrails swing loosely from between her teeth. I'm trying to dig myself out from under these pineapples as fast as I can. She begins galloping over to me. Shit. Oh god, oh shit. Suddenly an arrow flies and sinks into the monster's shoulder. Unearthly noises emanate from the beast as it shudders from the pain. I stand and see a massive black man in full plate armor. He drops a longbow and picks up a tower shield and a flail. A menacing look overcomes his face. He has a coat of arms emblazoned across his shield, a triumvirate of a plastic bag, a dollar bill, and a crying store associate. The manager. "To me!" he bellows in a booming voice. I fall in behind him as he charges forward. I pick up his longbow. He unleashes the ancient cry of his order. "That was only a limited time offer!" The Karen rears her head back and strikes. She's met with an expert blow from the manager as the head of his flail smashes her face. Black blood and fractured teeth fall from the creature. She doesn't give him time to recover. A lightning-fast strike comes again. He catches the bite with his shield and wedges it partially into its mouth. Her venomous, barbed tongue flicks around the sides, looking for an opening. Her demonic voice calls out, "You call this customer service?" His feet are cracking the tiles. He's holding the shield with everything he has. I leap onto the checkout counter and loose an arrow. It slips past the manager's head and pierces her stomach. The monster screams. The pile of pineapples on the floor instantly rots. Pipes burst in the ceiling and begin to sprinkle water throughout the store. She lets go of the shield and sweeps her arms across the floor. The manager's knocked into the bargain bin. Adam Sandler movies and stale candy soaring into the air. I shoot another arrow, and it misses wide. It finds its way to a customer, escaping out the door. The arrow sinks into his head, and his mobility scooter crashes. His body drops between the automatic doors. They close and open repeatedly on his body. Acceptable casualties.png. Drop the bow. Run toward the center of the store. I can hear her knocking over displays behind me. "My husband owns a dealership!" The voice grinds against my soul. "I spent so much money here!" The sound of Crocs slapping against the floor is getting closer. The monster's right on my heels. A customer with a cart enters the aisle that I'm running down. "What's going on here?" I take notice of their confused expression as I vault onto their cart and step on their face to get onto the tops of the shelves. "No one's talking to you!" Their cries are brief before the creature rips them apart. I don't look back, but it sounds like someone's tearing apart a wet sheet. "Mind your own business!" Using my momentum, I cross the store quickly, leaping from shelf to shelf. The Karen isn't as coordinated and has a hard time following me. I seize the opportunity and fling a series of bombs in its direction as I run. The smell of burning tortillas and peanut butter Captain Crunch fills the air as the bombs explode. I drop down into the frozen food section. Look fast, Hunter. The manager's with me. He tosses me my sword and I catch it. I brace myself for what's about to come.
You millennials take no pride in your work!
Coolers fall to the ground with a deafening crash. I roll and regain my bearings. The manager steps out in front of me as the creature strikes. He blocks the bite and crushes the hand she has on the floor with a nasty crunch. The creature howls.
I'm going to corporate about this! I shop here all the time!
Her anger is only making her more powerful. I run forward and spring off of the manager's shoulders. I catch the side of its neck with my sword and slice it all the way down as I land on its back. Black blood gushes from the wound. It smells of Marlboro 27s and iced coffee. She tries to throw me, but I use her cheap gold necklace to keep my balance. The manager pulls out a piece of paper and holds it up. A pamphlet on how vaccines work and herd immunity. She backs up a little bit. The creature hisses.
Big Pharma lies!
The necklace breaks as she reaches a hand around to pull me off. She picks me up and I stab her in the hand. The creature drops me and I fall 6 feet to the ground. The beast immediately strikes again and I catch the bite with my blade by holding it on each side. The sword is cutting into my left hand through the glove. The tongue can't get past the teeth. Her blood is dripping onto my face. The monster's bleached mustache bristles in effort. A nightmarish being of pure hatred and self-loathing. Suddenly, there is fire. The Karen's hair is aflame. She lets go of my sword, starts thrashing around. The frosted glass of the coolers crack and break as she smashes her head and hands into them. The manager drops a bottle of lighter fluid and walks closer. The creature begins to shrivel back into its normal size. She cries out,
I'm never shopping here again!
The deep voice of the manager calmly replies, I know you're not. The sound of metal hitting a skull turns into wet thwacks as he bashes her head into a pulp. The creature twitches and dies. I stand up. The manager and I share a gory handshake. His name is Darius. He offers to check me out. Darius and I swap a few monster stories as we approach the front. He tells me that Karens draw their power from their haircut. I grab my card and he rings me up. 4237, please. I feel around in my pockets. I must have lost my $50 during the fight. We lock eyes and share a silent moment. I snatch the nuggies out of the cart and make for the door. I can hear the heavy thud of armored footsteps behind me, but he's fatigued, and I easily outpace him. I get into the parking lot and find my steed. The van awakens, and we ride out of the lot. Look in the rearview mirror. A cold expression from my former battle companion tells me that this isn't over. Eat a cold tendy from the bag as I coast down the road.
Oh, Witcher, you have made a powerful enemy this day. I will tell you that much. But we do indeed live to fight another day. And so, fight another day we shall. That was only part number 5. There are 10 parts, and some of them are double parts. So yes, plenty more Urban Witcher to go.
Kim Kardashian's plastic face appears on the TV. The others of her coven show up after. There's a hideous amphibian creature that keeps referring to itself as Caitlyn Jenner.
Buckle up, buckaroo!
I am a witcher, butcher of basement dwellers. I was gathering supplies at a gas station, and my van was stolen. Several good boy point cards were inside. You can run, but you'll only die tired.png. Time to put my tracking skills to the test. A faint wisp of my scent sets me in the right direction, and I follow sporadic tire tracks for a couple of days. The tires are more worn than most other vehicles, because you can't buy new tires with good boy points. I finally find it. The van has been parked at a Holiday Inn. As I walk to the van, I can smell something in it. The doors are unlocked. Someone's gone through my van. I can't find my good boy point cards or my supplies. They've covered their scent with Axe body spray. My frozen tendies are now soggy, inedible. My fury shall know no bounds. I decide to check the hotel. I go inside, and my senses are stifled by chlorine from the indoor pool and the microwave food of the 2-star restaurant inside. A dead-eyed staff member greets me.
How can I help you, sir?
I ignore the mindless thrall and walk about the lobby. I overhear a boomer talking about how millennials are ruining the housing market because they can't afford to buy houses. Another one says that the gays are corrupting the church with them PDF files. It must be liberating to be that nescient. A woman is screaming at her toddler. A severely obese man is shoveling food into his mouth with his bare hands. Kids at the pool are dabbing on each other. One of them is doing a Fortnite dance. What sort of hell have I walked into? I can smell it. Ever so slightly, I pick up the same Axe body spray scent that was in the van. Leads into the elevator. I use the staircase. 2 waiters are smoking a J inside. They acknowledge me.
May the gods smile upon you, that girl,
one says. I nod back at them. I scale the stairs. The 5th floor is where the scent picks back up. A door in the center of the hall. The cleaning lady's left her cart unattended. I steal the master key. I press my ear to the door and don't hear anything. I go inside. The room has been freshly cleaned, but the Axe smell is strong. It takes me directly to the nightstand. Inside are all of my good boy point cards. All of them been blacked out with a marker, rendering them useless. Motherfucker. I hear heavy footsteps. The door's electronic lock beeps, and the door swings open. A towering figure in full plate armor enters the room. Darius. I was so fixated on my good boy points that I didn't consider if I was walking into a trap. I say nothing and draw my sword. Darius is holding a massive Zweihander. His deep voice reverberates in the air. The only cure for betrayal is vengeance. He steps into a stance. And I'm selling at wholesale prices. He charges. His first swing cuts straight through the wall of the entryway towards my head. I duck and counterstrike. My sword cuts into his armor, but does no damage. He returns with a heavy kick to the chest, and I sail across the room, slamming into the wall. He winds up for a downward cleave. I stand back up and flip my sword into my hand. Holding the pointy end, I deliver an upward blow to his chin with the pommel, stepping aside to avoid his blow. The unexpected blunt blow staggers him back. I change my grip again, back to normal. The handle is now slick with my own blood.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Nobody!
I cut downward with both hands, aiming for an armor gap in his wrist. He pulls away at the last moment and backhands me. My head's ringing. I stumble towards the door. His eyes hide none of the malice that he harbors for me. I can't fight him in close quarters, so I turn and run out the door. The father and son exiting the room next to me. They're startled by my bloody visage. The dad pushes his child towards me and runs toward the elevator. His sandals and socks flop quickly down the hall. The door I just came out of erupts off the hinges. Darius's Zweihander swings wildly as he steps into the hallway. I duck and push the boy to the ground as the blade slashes the air where our necks just were. I take off in the same direction as the dad. I hear armored footsteps behind me. I grab the cleaning lady's cart with my left hand and throw it behind me as I'm running. I hear it crash into Darius, but I dare not look back. The dad's entered the elevator and is frantically pushing the close button. I manage to throw myself through the closing elevator doors. The elevator doors shut, and I hear bashing on the outside. I try to catch my breath. The dad stares at me, both horrified and bewildered. The elevator stops on the next floor. A staff member looks at me, and then the frightened dad, and then back at me. She sighs deeply and steps inside. The elevator lurches and falls. The staff members crunched between the hallway and the falling elevator. Blood and viscera spray onto both of us as we enter the free fall. I grab the dad and position him underneath me in midair. He's screaming, and I can smell fresh urine.
Of course I peed my pants. Everybody my age pees their pants. It's the coolest.
The elevator slams into the ground. The dad absorbs most of my fall. I can feel his bones break. He gurgles incoherently, and I'm sure I've doomed him to a slow death. Cowards die twice. .gif. First floor, says the elevator as the doors shakily open. I stand. Everything hurts. Take out a bottle of Swallow. It's shattered on impact. I drink the remains in the bottom, using my teeth to filter out the glass shards and spit them on the ground. Then I smell something. The chlorine and restaurant smells are faint now. Body odor, urine, and spent seed. Doritos, Mountain Dew, and Hot Pockets. Gas station sushi, stale lube, and tendies. I hear anime quotes. I step out into the lobby. Oh my god, neckbeards everywhere. I hear, "Caught in the next town over." I can see buses outside the window. I can feel adrenaline rush through my veins. My Pepe medallion is humming strongly. I can see the remains of some of the hotel guests. Children have been sat on and crushed. A boomer screaming on a pyre, fueled by its spare college degrees. There's a woman crying in the corner. There appears to be a line where the monsters are taking turns smelling her shoes. Some of the neckbeards have tipped the vending machine over. They're fighting for candy and chips amongst themselves. Oh, I am in some serious shit now. The elevator crash has drawn attention. A nearby creature opens its mouth. Comrades! He's here! Seems like my exploits have given me some notoriety. All eyes are on me. I swap to my silver sword, and I pull out a bomb. There's another crashing noise behind me. The elevator ceiling opens, and Darius drops into it. I turn halfway towards him, not daring to turn my back to these creatures. We need to put this aside for now. He glares as he steps out. And why would we do that? He looks around. The wheezing and burping of the crowd has silenced. The calm before the storm. His eyes go wide. I didn't know. He's cut off. Oh, look! A Chad! He's got a Chad with him! A single shriek turns into a resounding battle cry from the pack. We're hopelessly outnumbered. Stand by me once again, I say. He tightens his grip on his sword. If anyone is killing you, it's going to be me. He breathes in deeply and lets out a battle cry of his own. The horde rushes towards us. I toss a few grape shot bombs to hinder the left side's advance. Darius runs to the right. He takes a power stance and swings, heads and fedoras flying into the air. The swarm smells like a hot dumpster outside a KFC.
It's finger-licking good!
My sword is a blur, dancing through the flesh of the incels. I am my blade. My blade is me. Broken Japanese is being chanted. I can feel the dark magics trying to slow me down. I'm taking slices and stabs from flimsy ornate knives and mall-bought weaponry. A creature in a My Little Pony onesie throws a poop sock at me. It misses, sailing across the room. I can hear screams as it bursts and dissolves its victim. Blood pools onto the floor. I don't know who it belongs to anymore. Molten piss bolts, multicolored shit, and shurikens foul the air. I dodge deftly, as a single hit could take my life. A horrid mix of monsters. Some covered in acne, their pores oozing with taint. Some are dressed up in anime costumes. One has a tail butt plug. It's using it to fly over me like a helicopter. And another beast painted blue is rolling towards me. Gotta go fast, .gif. I quick draw my crossbow and shoot the flying one as it descends on me. It falls from the air. The plug falls out and the mob is covered with flaming feces. The body lands on the blue boy and kills it instantly. This is absolutely chaos. Seizing the opportunity, another charges. I catch a katana blow with my crossbow. I toss it away and run my attacker through. Darius and I back up. The attack is changing. The less powerful neckbeards are backing up. The more powerful ones are coming forward. They start to clear away the fallen. A ring forms around us. A pot-bellied monster with a blonde wig steps forward. The creature is wielding a Buster Sword replica. It locks blades with Darius. The creature's autism has given him unnatural strength. Another ghastly champion approaches. An abomination in a fox furry suit enters the ring. It's wielding a large red-colored silicone dong on a staff. My corpse will most certainly be defiled when and if I die. They all start singing the opening song from Tokyo Ghoul. Blood trickles from my ears. I hear the clash of swords behind me as their battle intensified. The rubber dong begins to glow. Several seed-stained stuffed animals walk into the ring. A necromancer. It begins to yiff, and the animals attack. One jumps towards my face, and I cut it in half. Another's gotten hold of my leg. I fall to the ground, pull out my knife, and stab wildly into the crunchy cotton toys as I am overrun. Darius! I call out. Pot-bellied cloud crashes to the floor next to me. Darius impales its torso with his Zweihander. My face is being smothered by a coon-basted teddy bear. I vomit, clogging my airways and getting into my eyes. I hear a massive grunt from Darius. The animals go limp. I scramble to my feet. Darius has tossed the Buster Sword into the necromancer. The furry lies cut in half. Others behind it being severely injured as well. Seems the horde is losing their confidence. I toss the remainder of my bombs at the weakest points in the pack. The smell of hot bacon grease and melting action figures adds to the stench. An opening appears. I rush towards it. I can hear Darius follow. We manage to get outside. Darius was able to hold on to his sword. They're now bottlenecked at the entrance to the hotel, and Darius has resumed the fight. He kills any creature foolish enough to be within his reach, holding back the tide. I run to a parked bus. Inside, the pungent scent of sweat, excrement, and crippling loneliness is absolutely suffocating. The bus driver's reading a newspaper. I stab him in the throat as he goes to speak. Unleashing these abominations on the human world? He's lucky it was quick. I push his bleeding corpse out the door. I shift the bus into reverse. Slamming on the gas, I back the bus into the entrance. Darius steps aside. Reese! And cries for Mommy! Ring out as the back of the bus crushes the weebs. God, I don't know how many I just killed. Darius climbs inside and I put the bus into drive. We speed through the parking lot and jump the curb onto the street. The horde's unable to give chase due to, never having run in their lives. We're exhausted beyond belief. Unlike last time, no words are shared. I pull up to the grocery store and he gets out. We share another silent moment before he limps away. The bus doors close. There's still a score to be settled, but I'll be ready for him.
Is that gonna be the big climax, fighting with the Chad? Like the ultimate Chad? The super double plus giga Chad? Darius, the grocery store manager. I mean, you say you think you'll be ready, but I don't know if you can ever truly be ready for a thing like that. For now, though, I guess it's on to the next adventure until Darius catches up, so let's get into part number 7 right now.
And this one's a two-parter. It's been a few months since the Battle of the Holiday Inn. I was able to loot several good boy point cards from the bus that I commandeered. The foulness of dozens of neckbeards in a confined space was indescribable. A festering hellscape of nightmares and broken souls, if they even have them. The adult anime, both the professional and the hand-drawn, that I had found within were too horrifying to ever see the light of day. Some things aren't meant for mortal eyes. JPEG. I drove that bus off a bridge and into a river. I hope the wildlife will forgive me someday. Their ecosystem is now forever tainted. My good boy points are running low. I was able to coast on my loot for a while. I only have a few days worth of tendies left, and the honey mussy has run out. I must hunt. I stake out a grocery store. I haven't seen Darius since he almost got both of us killed. I should be safe, but I won't let my guard down, just in case. The frozen food aisle is always a reliable source of prey. I crouch on top of the freezers, concealed behind a cardboard display of Chili Willy. My wait pays off. A woman comes and loads her cart full of pizza rolls, Hot Pockets, mini corn dogs, and a hefty amount of tendies. The good ones, with the crunchy breading. As I'm following her out of the store, she almost sees me. I duck and hold on to a mobility scooter of an elderly woman as she rides by. The elderly woman glances down at me, but she doesn't give me away. She takes me behind the cover of the other cars in the parking lot. She has curly gray hair and a kind face riddled with smile lines from many years of laughter. She winks knowingly at me, says her name is Alice. She says that she knows of witchers and respects our way of life. I help Alice load her groceries into her car. She gives me a peppermint candy. Fuck yeah, .jpeg. I say goodbye to my new friend and stalk through the cars to catch up with my Corey. She's unaware of me as she finishes loading her trunk full of frozen delicacies. I roll underneath her SUV and hold on to the undercarriage as she drives away. Not too far away, we pull into her driveway and park. I wait for her to unload and go inside. I go around the back and look in the window. She's watching TV. I open the back door and enter. The house is relatively clean and well kept. Eat, pray, love is on the coffee table. The dust in between the book covers tells me that it's purely decorative. There's other framed painting replicas from the Renaissance. French gibberish no one gives a shit about painted directly on the kitchen wall. An Eiffel Tower statue right next to it. This whole house is a charade of being worldly and deep. If I see another Live, Laugh, Love placard, I'm gonna start hunting suburban mothers. There's a tiny ceramic chef with a chalkboard that says chicken strips for dinner on it. Call it whatever you want, but those tendies will be mine. I can taste hints of pungent body odor coming from the laundry room. Not too strong, but definitely detectable. Most likely a run-of-the-mill neckbeard lives here. I can't risk being caught again. The police and I don't get along. At least, not since the Slurpee incident. I go up behind the couch and lock the mom into a sleeper hold. She tries to scream and thrash, but ultimately, she just passes out. Something feels strange. Kim Kardashian's plastic face appears on the TV. The others of her coven show up after. There's a hideous amphibian creature that keeps referring to itself as Caitlyn Jenner.
Buckle up, buckaroo!
I've never seen a monster like this before. I grab the screen and tear it from the wall.
It's getting me so good, okay.
The cables and the wall mount snap. I won't allow these wretched things to stain my mind any further. I destroy and burn the TV entirely, as it is now cursed, but the noise could compromise me. I investigate the rest of the house. The basement door doesn't smell like neckbeard. Quick check of it finds that it's just for storage. I go upstairs and sense a sweet and salty smell in the air. A bedroom at the end of the hall is the source. Odd for a neckbeard to be upstairs. No noises are coming from the room. I push the door open. The smell of Black and Milds and Red Bull assaults my senses. There's bottles and cans of chew spit haphazardly stacked around the floor. Black and yellow stains color the bed. There's a narrow path to the flat screen showing Inuyasha on mute. Furry, possibly? Chipotle wrappers and cups carpet the floor. Everything is dusted with Copenhagen chewing tobacco. There's a half-eaten Crunchwrap Supreme on top of a PS4. Busty, mature adult magazines are carelessly tossed across the room. My Witcher senses can smell the old seed, feeding mold in between the pages. A Viva La Bam posters on the wall, a relic from the Dark Age. There's a stencil of a marijuana leaf drawn on a wall. An old skateboard that's clearly never been ridden rests against the bed. There's a Breaking Benjamin poster above the bed. The corners of the seed-drenched sheets are frozen in the air. The wear on the fabric says that crunchy is its natural state of being. No poop socks, not nearly enough urine stains. The TV is the sole evidence of anime interest. This is a mutant variety of neckbeard. A Kyle. Unlike their weeb cousins, their autism is channeled into what a Kyle thinks makes it edgy and Chad-like. I turn and exit the room. There won't be any good boy point cards in there. I'm not properly prepared for this. I go downstairs and open the freezer. I jam as many tendies as I can into my satchel. Maybe I can set the house on fire as I leave. Then I hear it. The buzz of an engine. Faint at first, but getting closer. I turn to flee out the front door, but it's too late. A dirt bike flies through a large window and into the living room. Glass shards and broken wood fill the air. I watch the unconscious mother get peppered with shrapnel. The dirt bike continues on. It destroys the coffee table and topples the dining room furniture. A creature enters the house through the wreckage. It has pre-ripped jeans, and it's wearing Chuck Taylors. A large X Games t-shirt ripples in the wind across a rail-thin frame. It's wearing an Avenged Sevenfold beanie. It has sloppy, homemade tribal tattoos down its left arm. The dark circles under its eyes highlight its rage as it stares at its matron. Hey, Mom, look, I know it's not cool for me to ride my bike through the living room window again, but I wanted to have my friends over and you didn't answer my text, so really? All this is your fault. The metal rings as I draw my silver sword from its sheath. The beast turns and locks eyes with me. What the fuck are you doing in my house? I note the lack of concern for its mother. I'm poised to strike. Its voice cracks with rage. Don't call the cops. I handle my own business. I'm gonna fucking kill you. Time slows as my body fills with adrenaline. If you can. The monster rushes towards me. Fueled by the dark alchemy of energy drinks, it closes the gap almost instantly. It swings at my face and I barely parry the blow. Its greasy hand smells of seed and Newport cigarettes. I retort with a headbutt square in its face. Bam! Nose bleeding, it reels back. I seize the opening by slashing downward. Its speed is inhuman, even beyond my enhanced abilities. It dodges my blade. It strikes my hands and I lose my grip on the sword. I barely register it falling to the floor before a combo of hits staggers me backwards a step. I see a haymaker coming my way. This power punch doesn't play to its strengths. I dodge and lunge forward. I land a heavy blow into the monster's diaphragm. As it staggers, I grab its head and pull the beanie over its eyes. It wheezes as it loses its balance on the broken glass and falls backwards. I reach into my satchel and slam a boomer decoction. The monster's beginning to get up as I grab my sword from the floor. I take a swing at its head and miss badly. It tries to tackle me, but I spin out of its grasp. I slash a deep gash into its back as it passes me. Every species of autist has its own screech. It runs into the kitchen and begins throwing whatever it can grab at me. A vase shatters harmlessly on the floor. I bat away a toaster with my sword. I can hear the mother behind me stand, weeping, confused. A blender flies past my shoulder. The resulting thwack silences her cries. It goes for the kitchen knives. Instead of throwing them at me individually, it throws the entire holding block. I knock it from the air with my blade, and the knives scatter across the floor. Running out of things to throw, the creature then becomes further enraged. It begins punching holes in the wall and stomping around. An intimidation tactic. I'm not your stepdad, .webm. I rush forward and stab. It manages to sidestep me again, and my sword sinks into the fridge. It lands a series of blows to my face. A high school class ring cuts my face. Fuck this. I let go of my sword and shove the beast. The Kyle is now backed into a kitchen corner. It can't dodge me if there's nowhere to run. I can feel the boomer decoction in my veins. Chad decoctions give you strength and an aura of tangible fear. Boomer decoctions are different. The black rage of intergenerational hatred fills my very being. My fists move on their own. Devastating blows land on Kyle's face and ribs. It lands some blows back, but its movements have become labored. Speed was its only advantage, and it's begun to weaken. I land a hefty combo, and it begins to cry. I backhand the creature, and it falls to the ground. I can hear it scramble away as I pull my sword out of the fridge. I can smell the copper of this creature's blood. It's tainted with darkness. I turn around, and it's brandishing a large knife that fell to the floor. See back, I study Kung Fu. I'm a triple black belt. Lies. I run in. Its movements are even slower now. It stabs forward. I knock the knife to one side and run the beast through in one swift movement. Its punches and kicks of resistance are becoming listless. I maintain eye contact with the creature as I lift it off the ground, skewered on my sword. I give the sword a swift twist and drop the Kyle to the floor. Its body limply thuds as it reaches the ground. This doesn't count. I didn't say I was ready. Pathetic. I hear more creatures outside. I won't be taken by surprise. I jump out the broken window, and I run directly into a pack of Kyles. One is chubby, with no shirt. Another's wearing a Punisher shirt and failing to do bunny hops on his BMX bike. Another's wearing a filthy grease-stained flannel, sitting on the hood of a massive pickup truck. Its lip is overflowing with chew. Kyles are dangerous because of their greater social abilities. Their autism and illusions of grandeur create a feedback loop circle jerk among this band of monsters. Most creatures will assess a threat before attacking, but not Kyle's. The chubby one pulls out a gas station folding knife from its pocket, the Confederate flag boldly painted across its grip. I got this one, guys. I took an MMA class once, and they kicked me out for being too good. The creature appears confident as it saunters forward. I can feel the effects of my decoction strongly now. Amplified rage seeps into my bones. I feel unsubstantiated superiority over these things. My vision is enhanced. I see its every move. The abomination is slow in comparison to the other. It can't fathom what's about to happen. It suddenly ducks and goes to slash my stomach. I step back, let the swipe miss, and then step forward again. I plunge my sword downward with both hands, skewering the filth in the back through the heart and pinning it to the ground. A soft gasp leaves its lips as it dies. The wound bubbles and widens. The fat ripples across its body. The flesh screams with escaping heat as stinky black blood leaks from it. The death of the young fills my boomer-altered state with elation. I feel more power with every wound I inflict. Thoughts that aren't mine dance across my brain. We are the best generation to ever exist. Punisher's picked up its bike and is screaming, "My friend was a Navy SEAL. He taught me how to fight. I'll fuck you up." This isn't the internet, .gif. And so the dance begins. Sparks fly as the aluminum frame of the bike clashes with the silver of my sword. It's more skilled than most bike fighters I've come across, true, but not nearly good enough. My leg is suddenly ablaze. The one in flannel has started spitting volatile chew drippings at me. They can't fight one-on-one. Honorless vermin. I ignore the pain as the fire begins to eat through the leather protecting my leg. The boomer decoction is increasing in effect. I can track its enhanced movements easily now. To slay a beast, sometimes you must become a beast. Get fucked, millennial! Involuntarily escapes my mouth. I just cursed my own generation. I knock its weapon to my left. As the monster loses balance, I cleave downwards. I sever both of its arms off at the elbow. Blood sprays as the bike falls to the ground. As the hands enter rigor mortis, they release the bike and form the shocker. Cringe, embedded directly into its muscle memory. It begins screaming and running around. I do a backflip out of the way as another blob of chew blazes past me. I reach down and rip off my leg armor. I can't feel that torched flesh anymore. With its kin out of the way, the spit comes quickly.
So this is like the boss of the Kyles or something like that? Oh, it's really starting to heat up, isn't it? Let's continue on and see if the Witcher can beat the boss Kyle.
The spit comes quickly now. The lawn is catching fire. I dip and weave between the shots. The salty smell of the goop stings my eyes. I can still see the trajectory of every one. A Quipsamum bomb puts a halt to the spitting. The flash of the explosion shines light into the monster's eyes, and I see no soul within. I dodge a last shot and go to cleave the creature in half. My sword sinks into the front of the truck as the creature dodges out of the way. A cry from behind pierces my ears. "Motherfucker!" I turn to see the original Kyle. Its face is bruised and one of its eyes is swollen shut. It's clutching the massive stomach wound that I gave it earlier. This thing can't accept defeat. I've made a mistake. I didn't confirm the kill. It's holding a can of Monster BFC.
My god, Witcher, maybe it's time to flee! That is a big fucking can!
Monster energy! Put it in your body and ask questions later. It's green, so it's nature.
The abomination can't even wrap its hand around it. I hear a yell from the spitter. No! Don't! It's forbidden! No one's meant to have that much power! I feel fear, even in my enhanced state. What foulness will come of this? I push the spitter to the ground while it's distracted. Ripping my sword free again, I sprint towards this new threat. The Kyle smashes the can on its head, twisting it, the glowing green liquid pouring into its mouth. Drops of it splatter on the ground. Smoking wisps come from whatever they touch. I'm nearly there. I can see the sparse individual hairs of what it surely calls a beard. A flash of light. I'm flying backwards. I feel a blast of dark magic only after I'm in the air. I smash through the windshield of the truck and into the back seat. Oh, I force myself to sit up. I can feel my bones shift unnaturally. My armor's burnt and falling apart. The creature screeches. My ears throb with pain and rips its shirt off to reveal a massive tattoo down the front of its abdomen. The 3 iconic tears of the monster claw. The mark of a master of dark alchemy. The tattoo is pulsing with energy. Its eyes are gone, glowing orbs of green in their stead. The creature rises to hover in the air. The spitter sits up. It opens its mouth to speak. Dude, you should... I watch as a ray of green twisting energy emits from the Kyle's hand and basks the spitter in heat. The bright green light is surrounded by cracking black lightning. It's like watching a chocolate bunny get melted with a hairdryer. It's my house, Braxton! I can do whatever I want! I scramble into the front seat and find that the keys are in the ignition. The truck roars to life and I slam it into reverse. I back into another car on the street. In the rearview mirror, I can see the Punisher pinned between my bumper and the car. Its eyes have popped out of their sockets, and blood is flowing freely from its mouth. Whoever owns it can buff that out, I'm sure. I put it in drive and get away as fast as I can. I can feel myself bloating. I'm definitely bleeding internally. I sideswipe parked cars on both sides of the road as I struggle to maintain consciousness. Explosions crack and split the street in front and behind me. Black and green energy fizzles and sears the air. This monster sure is a shitty shot. A sudden burst on my right flips the truck over. The metal scrapes against concrete. The momentum slides me through an intersection, and I hit a school bus straight on. My head is ringing. I'm laying on my back. The crumpled truck is the only thing protecting me from a direct fatal blast. I look at the Kyle, flying towards me. Kids have begun to exit the bus. Middle schoolers. They look pissed. I feel no contempt for them. That means the decoction is bleeding out of my system. Not good. They look at me and then at the approaching Kyle, and they start to dance. What is this? My Pepe medallion begins humming intensely. All the Fortnite dances are happening at once. A faint "do the stanky leg" is being chanted somewhere in the crowd. A single kid is teaching me how to Dougie. A group is cha-cha sliding towards me. Could it be? Have they found a way to fuse the old magic and the new? You!
Soldier Boy, tough. Hey, I got this new dance for y'all called the Soldier Boy.
Damn it. A resounding chorus of Soldier Boy gives me my answer. Scholars of the past and present. A child near me throws their lunchbox at the Kyle. It goes about 10 feet and then falls to the ground. Nah, man, you gotta do it like this, one of them says. Yeet! A backpack full of books launches at blinding speed. As the Kyle approaches, the bag smashes into its face. Glowing liquid drips from its nose. Its voice cracks again as it calls out, I can kick anyone's ass! I got like 1 million fight scenes going through my head every day! A middle schooler steps forward. He crosses his arms and he takes a power stance. Cool story, bro. Oh! The mob's voice becomes one in approval. A series of yeet, yeet, yeet can be heard. Backpacks, pencil cases, lunchbox, instruments and calculators are all flying toward the Kyle. What the fuck is happening? Ordinary objects turned into deadly projectiles. The Kyle maneuvers and blasts as many as it can out of the air, but the monster's efforts are futile. It is pelted relentlessly. It's beginning to bleed green slop from various places on its body. The Kyle starts sending crackling bolts of light at the kids. Those who continue dancing have placed a protective magical barrier over the crowd and myself.
This new magic sure is terrifying and powerful.
The energy dissipates as it closes in on the kids. A deep yeet comes from the center of the youth. A kid who has entered into puberty early yeets a smaller child into the Kyle. The abomination falls from the sky, and the swarm descends on it. I'm too far away to see exactly what's happening. The majority of them are dabbing over the Kyle. My eyes slam shut as a blinding light engulfs the middle schoolers. There's a burst of heat. Small, blackened skeletons twack onto the street as they fall from the sky. The scent of burned hair and steaming blood drifts into the air. The silence is sudden and deafening. The children are dead. At least they died doing what they loved. My body's broken. I can't avenge my protectors. I can see the creature floating towards me. Another child emerges from the bus. It has a package of Tide Pods that it's shoveling into its mouth. The Kyle isn't paying attention. The child roars as an empty package drops to the ground. Its muscles bulge, and it grows several feet taller. His shirt rips from his body. Think Gaben had enough foresight to put on baggy sweatpants. The child is now 12 feet tall. The muscles on its body are larger and more disproportionate than the fucking Hulk. It must be another master alchemist. The Kyle is watching. It's in just as much awe as I am. The child grabs a nearby oak tree and tears it from the ground. The Kyle starts blasting. The youth uses the tree as a shield. Magic peels the bark off as it bounds forward. The crunch of torched bones and broken glass underlie the child's battle cry. It cracks the Kyle with the tree. The Kyle lands against the pavement and rips a rut into the street. Shredded concrete shoots everywhere. It floats back into the air and throws a ball of darkness at its foe. The magic seems to eat the very light itself. The alchemist throws the tree at the ball. The wood rots and withers away, and the tree explodes. Bursting through the debris in the air, the middle schooler closes the gap. They begin to trade blows. The youth's brute strength matches the magically enhanced Kyle's abilities. Green slime and red blood fly in every direction. Neither can get the advantage on the other. The child grabs the monster by the leg and smashes it into the ground. Standing over the Kyle, he punches it deeper and deeper, making a crater in the earth. Another explosion sends the middle schooler into the bus. The metal screeches as it buckles from the child's massive frame. Unfazed, he turns and lifts the bus over his head. The Kyle murmurs as it summons more power. Yeet! The bus launches at the monster, but is cut in half mid-air by a pulsing array of magic. The child seems to be getting tired. A blast scorches its face as the Kyle comes closer. He begins to shrink. The youth charges again regardless. He gets a few last hits in before it's too small to reach anymore. He collapses to the ground, and the Kyle laughs. The creature's eyes glow with delight.
I've never lost a fight. I've been in hundreds. You never stood a chance.
Its hands begin to glow for the final blow. I kicked your ass, you wuss. My sudden interjection draws its attention. It turns to face me.
What did you just say?
Its voice is starting to distort. I said, I slapped your shit. I can see the middle schooler get up and run away. He tried his best. Thanks for everything, kid.
You think you won? Look at you. You couldn't even stand if you wanted to.
I'm not done yet. I try my best to crawl out of the truck. I groan with effort. Come and get some, bitch boy. It smirks. The thing hovers through the air towards me. Its body is breaking apart. The monster tattoo glowing stronger than before. Its own power eating away at it. Cracks ripple across its torso and emit more of the bright green magic. A being caught between being an incel and wanting to be a Chad. A Kyle will do anything to protect its fragile self-image. The duality of its nature is also the source of its suffering. This one has doomed itself so that it could kill me. It ended its friends and innocent children. The abomination peels the metal away from the truck. It grabs my leg and drags me out from the wreckage. I'm pulled into the air. I sputter and then cough up blood. It rushes up my nose, into my eyes. "Well?" it says, its voice now echoing and otherworldly. A smug expression comes across its face. "Any last words?" A final surge of strength comes to me. What is this? Basic survival instinct? Desperation? Anger? Or have I spent so much time hunting autists that I might have become a bit autistic myself? It no longer matters. The words bubble through the blood in my mouth. No homo. I lash out with my good arm and crush its genitals in my hand. It drops me to the ground and screams. It tries desperately to get me to let go. Punching, thrashing, crying, pleading. Blasts of foul magic scorch my body. I feel my flesh waste away. It shouts curses on my ancestors and promises my immeasurable suffering to come. I still don't let go. I tighten my grip. My life is spent. I won't let it be done so fruitlessly. A final gift of agony. It falls to the ground with me, crippled by the pain. I start pulling my hand toward myself as hard as I can. With my last act, I can feel the abomination's dick and balls tear messily off of its body. It screams, and light comes from its mouth. The surge of pain releases the last of its power. I watch the final effects of the darkness take hold. Its body writhes, but starts to fall apart and blow away into the wind. The monster's stem and berries turn to dust in my hand.
Yeah, make sure you don't breathe that in. That can't be good.
Nothing's left now, except for the destruction that it wrought in its wake. Upturned concrete and the remains of the massive tree, smoking metal, and the black, broken bones of the children. Not how I thought this would all end, but I can't say I'm entirely surprised. All the monsters I've killed, all the situations I've gotten into, the people I've helped, the friends I've made, and the enemies too, I guess. It's all been leading up to this moment. It wasn't an easy life, but at least it was never boring. I think about it all and chuckle to myself. Blood is filling my lungs. Things are getting dark now. I don't think I feel afraid anymore. I think I can taste honey mussy.
Witcher, no! Witcher, wake up! What about your healing factor? Well, at least we fade to black for now. This has been such a fantastic story, and even once we get through, like, the original Saga, written by the original OP, I kind of want to go and check out some fan-made parts of this. The Urban Witcher is just, it's a delight. Kyle's and Chad's and Carrots and Neckbeards all coming together for our entertainment. Although I do feel kind of bad about the kids. They knew all the Fortnite dances, and those hours spent aping some other kid on TikTok, purely wasted. But at least that Kyle was taken down. Those were some dark magics indeed, all from drinking that foul soup. Monster BFC. Oh, how I would love to hate you, but I can't. Actually, I'm more of a Red Bull guy. But at the end of the day, it's all unhealthy bullshit. Enjoy it in moderation.
Looks like you had an epic fail. LOL. There's resounding laughter from the others. I cringed so hard a blood vessel burst in my eye.
Ah, broke a damn blood vessel!
My eyes open. The smell of cinnamon buns fills the air. Judy Garland is playing softly in the background. Good, you're awake. The voice sounds familiar. The kind eyes of Alice look down at me. Her gray hair and smile lines may make her look old, but her gaze betrays a youthful soul.
You're lucky, you know. I only just got you into the house before the police came. Nasty business, Kyles are.
I was sure I was dead. The battle with the Kyle killed so many children. So much destruction. Dark magic of energy drinks is not to be trifled with.
And
Alice tells me I've been in critical condition for a few weeks. Through old recipes of handmade tendies, she was able to coax my body back from the edge of death. I spend another week with Alice, healing and helping her when I can. Her house has a lovely, comforting feel to it that's hard to describe. Feeling good, wanting to be more mobile, I offer to go get us some food. I set off for a KFC about a mile away. Feels good to stretch my legs. The sun is setting and I feel at peace as I enter the building, and the warmth pushes away the cold from outside. I go to the counter. A bored employee takes my order, and I wait. After I get my food, I decide to sneak a few tendies. They don't taste right. I look at the employee. A hint of a smirk flashes across his face. Door opens behind me. The wind carries the scent of seed, body odor, and mochi ice cream.
and
8 neckbeards walk inside. Some have trench coats and fedoras. Others are wearing various anime apparel. All are wheezing and shining with greasy sweat. It's been a trap all along. But how did they know I'd be here? I drop the food to the ground and draw my sword. No supplies. I left my satchel at Alice's. It's the end of the line, Witcher, one of them says. A cold look of determination adorns its acne-filled face. You'll answer for your crimes at last. I say nothing and sprint forward. The widening eyes of the beast suggest that it was expecting a dramatic back and forth. I step from a chair to a table and onto the shoulders of the speaker. As the monster goes to cry out, I ram my sword down its throat. A soft bubbles through the hot nacho cheese coming forth from its mouth. I push the blade down further and twist. It soils itself as I ride the corpse slowly to the floor. The shock and awe of the swift death sends the others back a step. I'm closer to full strength than I thought. Ripping the sword out, I attack the closest artist. It goes to parry, too late. The tip of my cheesy blade whistles through the air and opens the creature's throat. It clutches its neck as a slow flow of molten hot fruit roll-ups envelops its Kingdom Hearts necklace. The others attack. I duck past a katana slice and grab the dying monster. Pushing it toward the others, a separate beast takes the head off of it with a war hammer. The body falls to its knees and sprays volcanic fruit roll-ups all over the warhammer wielder's crotch. It screams, "My pee-pee is gone!" It falls into the hot, fruity blood and is slowly burned alive. Its skin pulls away from the body as it's melting, and the muscle and fat bubble away into nothingness. It smells like someone set fire to a Goodwill donation bin. I parry 2 separate katanas and slice off a hand. The ground is shaking. More are coming through the door. I look through the windows and see moms in minivans dropping off. So many good boys. Some are in pajamas, others in suits of armor or full samurai gear. I even see furries.
I don't believe in violence. I don't believe in violence.
A battalion of neckbeards in onesies exits a cargo van. Their strength in numbers is making them overconfident. I parry a slice into another neckbeard that was about to strike. A poop sock flies past me and bursts into flames. Severed limbs, broken weapons, and heads pile upon the ground. Even more continue to fall upon my blade. The mixing fluids of the dead is creating a caustic mess. Many are dying to friendly fire. A gallon-sized piss jug coats a furry. The suit rots away, the flesh underneath turns black, and the body falls to the ground. Maggots burst out, and mushrooms grow rapidly upon it. I spit up vomit as the stench of lube, sushi, manga ink, and foot fungus stifle the air. And then I feel a stab in the back. The cashier has shot me with a crossbow. I'm starting to feel sleepy. The tendies were poisoned. I stumble backwards into a wall. The corpses of the fallen are hampering my movement. My sword is knocked from my hand. Spears, katanas, kukris, and hand-glued weapons surround me. All is still. The center of the pack moves. Donned in a fresh new kimono, the biggest boy comes forward. It's the Nestor from before. It calls itself Goku. Its smug expression is highlighted by its foot-long neckbeard. Its hair is pulled back into a bun, despite its massively receded hairline. And then the beast speaks. Looks like you had an epic fail. LOL. There's resounding laughter from the others. I cringe so hard a blood vessel bursts in my eye.
Broke a damn blood vessel!
It all makes sense. This abomination, it's smarter than the others. It's come for revenge. I killed its friends, sterilized its mother, and burned its gaming PC and adult anime. I feel weak. The poison is taking effect. Goku waddles through the bodies. Everything it steps on is immediately crushed by the monster's healthy frame. It closes the distance, and my punches have no effect. It grabs my head and pushes it into the festering flaps of fat under its tits. I scream and try to struggle, and then the darkness takes me. No, Witcher, you must wake up! There's so much work left to be done.
But this is why we always got to keep our heads on a swivel. Think about OPSEC all the time. Should I go to that KFC again? The one closest to my house? Somebody might be waiting for me.
The FBI is gonna come after me after they hear this video.
Just kidding. They've been after me for a while now. Philippines got no extradition treaty. Although you don't need an extradition treaty to show up in the middle of the night and shoot me in the back of the head. What? Anyways. We'll continue on into part 9.
I am a witcher. Monster hunting isn't an easy life. There's no retirement, only death. I've been tied to a pole for days. A particularly crafty neckbeard and its ilk have me on trial. I'm being charged with crimes against artists. Several mommies put together enough money to rent out an event center. Thousands of the horrible beasts have crawled from their holes to see me die. It's truly a sight to behold. Enslaved mothers are also in chains, carrying plates of tendies and liters of dewy. Some of the creatures rove in packs. Others refuse to acknowledge even their own kind. The furries have been mating with each other since the door opened.
Vroom, vroom. Oh yeah, I'm a squirrel, and that feels great.
Their seed is infused into stuffed animals to give them life through dark magics. Some creatures are playing video games. Others have assembled to make a makeshift library with the most horrifying adult anime known to exist. A few of the monsters are so enormous that they've completely lost the ability to speak and are 100% feral, tamed only by their mothers, who are able to interpret their wants through various shrieks. Only a few fights have broken out. Most are about Full Metal Alchemist and whether you should watch the original or Brotherhood first. I stopped breathing through my nose a few minutes after recovering consciousness. The stench of soiled undergarments and body odor was eye-watering. I can taste the dusty mist of dried seed on my tongue. It's everywhere. It's unescapable. They haven't fed me since I was captured. Despite an empty stomach, I managed to purge my mouth every few hours by vomiting pure stomach acid. The ringleader, Goku, has been on stage with me for most of the trial. Its short kimono flutters when it turns to accuse me. The action should flash me, but it would take a team of highly skilled explorers to find a dong anywhere in those folds. Its bare scalp glistens with sweat that drips into the balding remains of a man bun. Everything is being spoken in Japanese. Those who can make it on the stage testify against me. A few I recognize as near kills. Others are mothers who have been coerced into being there and read from sloppily written scripts. Their words are spoken with hate, but their eyes hide a thank you. Goku speaks into the microphone, and the crowd settles. After everything we've heard, I'll have the final word. The Witcher can save his breath because the sentence is death! Overwhelming cries of joy come from the crowd. Since he's been such a dummy, we'll end his life and drown him in cummies.
Oh God, it is a fate worse than death.
I gotta end this. I'm telling you, this is all I can take. Somebody please put me out of my misery.
I scream and thrash against my bonds. With a hand motion, Goku has me removed from the pole and bound in chains. My strength is drained from malnourishment. I only manage a broken nose and a few missing teeth from my jailers. Follow me, friends, and we'll dig a hole, nice and deep, for the Witcher's soul. I'm being dragged outside. I can hear the horde noisily filing out of the arena. Goku snaps his fingers, and several mommies with shovels appear. There's a vast parking lot, full of minivans. To the north, there's a field of grass, and further out, there's a small thicket of trees. It takes over an hour for the spectacle to be set up. The shovel slaves begin digging. The congregation of abominations are cheering and shouting curses at me. Many have either pre-made or are producing bottles of seed to fill my grave with. I've accepted this as the end days ago. Nothing could possibly save me now. One of the slaves drops to the ground. A bolt sticks out of her eye. The others all begin to scatter. A ripple of confusion goes through the crowd. In the distance, I can see something. An old lady sitting on an ATV. It's covered in razor wire, and there's a crossbow resting gently on the wheel. Alice. She grabs a megaphone.
Release the Witcher and leave, and I may yet let you live.
Goku hisses and motions for one of its own. The megaphone has an anime skin where the speaker opening is the gaping beehole of Diva from Overwatch.
This is not okay. This needs to stop now.
Why shouldn't we have our fun? We are many, and you are one. A ripple of wheezing laughter pours through the crowd. There's a small silence before she replies.
Because when you hunt the wolf, you hunt the entire pack.
A gigantic black man in plate armor steps out from behind the tree line. A poleaxe towers above his imposing figure. Darius, you son of a bitch. Behind him, a company of soldiers appear. They're wearing scale mail aprons and varying types of armor. Swords, axes, and maces flash into hand. Store associates. Goku laughs again. If that's all you can muster, all your threats are all just bluster. You said all twice. To Alice's right, a company of archers steps out of the tree line. The faint scent of marijuana drifts on the breeze. I recognize those busboys from the hotel on the front line. They've mustered the stoners. Goku begins to look unsettled. Try to fight with all your might. Good boys win because we're right.
I love that he speaks in rhyme, too. This is just insane. Hell yes, insane mad author. Take me on a journey.
To Alice's left, various characters begin to appear. Anime characters, video game characters, Jedi, orcs, Gandalf, elves, Dothraki, the Rohirrim, and even more. The cosplayers have come to save me. Goku shouts something in Japanese. The horde begins to shift into battle ranks. Maul ninja weaponry can be heard unsheathing. The postulating ogre-like nesters are being rolled forth on their chains. The stench of fresh shit and urine surges. They're readying their weapons. Alice throws her megaphone on the ground and lets loose a battle cry. Darius holds up his poleaxe and joins. The voices of the makeshift army become one. Horns are blown. Steel rings free. The neckbeards harden their line. The sound of them in unison is deafening. Without warning, they charge the incels. Arrows and shurikens darken the sky. Molten piss bolts glow and crackle. The first deaths. These obese creatures are riddled with arrows. Shurikens and Naruto knives find gaps in armor. A soldier catches a poop sock in the chest, and the explosion eviscerates her. My God.
I remember her from Housewares. She sold me a blender. I felt like we had a connection.
The cavalry comes first, tearing through them on my right. They sweep around to isolate me from the rest of the army. Goku reaches for its katana, but stops. The cry of the Nazgul sends a shiver through the horde. I turn and see the 9 heading straight for me. They're parrying shurikens and swords, slicing and trampling any creature that dares to come within reach. Some are bowled over by a horribly mutated creature. It shoves a Nazgul into the folds of its fat and sits on a horse, flattening it into a pancake. The rest of them aren't slowed. The Witch King reaches me and grabs my chains. I'm being rescued. Goku cuts his horse's legs out from under him. We travel a short distance and end up out in the open. Goku was too distracted, or too confident, to move me away from the front line. Before the monsters can catch up to us, the first of the store associates arrives. Those that broke rank to recapture me are mercilessly torn apart. The store associates are screaming and laughing as their foes die. Their dark, pent-up rage toward the public now has a vent, and it's not pretty. They eagerly crash into the front line.
Show Peebus. Another Anon snuck in there. Beautiful. You deserve it.
The Witch King screams and follows after them. I run away from the battle and into my savior army. A familiar face greets me with bolt cutters. I told you! His deep voice can be heard clearly over the sounds of battle. If anyone is killing you, it's going to be me. My chains fall to the ground. A sword is thrust into my hand. Darius picks up his poleaxe and charges in behind his associates. I find a nearby horse and saddle up. I can see the battle unfolding. The associates have stalled against the line of incels. The creatures have piled the bodies of their own into makeshift walls, stabbing over the top of them with spears. The Dothraki and Rohirrim took many losses, but broke out on the far side of the horde and are coming back around for another pass. I look over in time to see the cosplayers reach the line. Lightsabers flash. Fat, pimply samurais are cutting orcs apart. Monsters redouble their efforts in order to push us back. Crunchy, stuffed animals walk slowly from the line. Soldiers are stabbing and cutting them apart, but it does little to stop their slow, relentless assault. A store associate cries out as a mob of My Little Ponies engulfs him. He's being penetrated by the one with the strappy silicone dong horn. An expertly placed arrow ends his suffering. And
For the Emperor!
From behind me, a squad of space marines rushes into the breach. The horrific conjurations are being set on fire. The whir of chainswords ripping them apart.
My babies, Reed!
A furry bursts through the flaming ranks. The abomination smacks a Marine with its magic staff, to no avail. The seals of purity attached to his armor completely nullifies it. The Marine drops its flamer to the ground. He places one hand on the costume wolf's shoulder and shoves its armored gauntlet through the mask and into the monster's mouth. Suffer not the mutant to live!
Bro, this is the best urban Witcher. I'm all about it. How can they possibly top this? We jumped the shark at this point.
A gurgling scream raises over the clamor of battle as he pulls the furry's jaw off of its head. A volley of piss jugs causes our attack to fall back. An answering volley of arrows keeps the horde from seizing the momentum. I can see them coming forward. Great, mutated beasts. All are in chains, being drawn forward by other monsters. Their bloated forms dwarf all the other good boys. One's wearing a diaper and a My Hero Academia t-shirt. Another is shirtless and in the biggest and tightest pair of sweatpants I've ever seen. The last is so massive that it can't even waddle. It's being brought forth on the back of a pickup truck. I can't stand by and watch any longer. I canter my horse into a full gallop. I'm headed right for the front line. I can see Darius in front of me. He's expertly wielding his poleaxe, beheading and dismembering each creature that comes to challenge him. The pickup truck stops. A crew of thin, freshly turned weebs removes the pants off of it. Oh shit, oh fuck, oh god, oh no, .gif. I ditch the horse at the last second. I tackle Darius to the ground. A massive pressurized stream of liquid diarrhea erupts from the gluttonous thing. Screams of friend and foe alike fill the air as the shit explosively catches fire. A crunching noise can be heard as the diapered ogre steps on bodies to reach us. I roll off of Darius, and he stands up just in time to give it a nasty gash across its belly. It thrashes around. Its autistic strength cuts a store associate in half with a single, bare-handed blow. Darius looks at me and nods. I run forward and vault off of his shoulders. I land on its chest. My vantage is precarious, but its massive man-tits provide a shelf for me to stand on. I hack into its face, tearing out the right eye. The acne froths forth pus that seals the wound. It screeches inarticulately with intermittent burps. I lose my footing. I fall to the ground. The blood from the battle has softened the earth. Darius drags me up from the red mud. The abomination takes off its diaper and begins wielding it as a weapon.
Loaded diaper activate.
How's the diaper not exploding into flames? You know what? I don't want to know.
More store associates come forth to attack. Their rage blinds them from the increased threat. They start slicing into its sun-starved skin. The diaper crashes into them. Some are crushed instantly. A few get covered in piss and fetid shit. Help me! Oh my god, it hurts! Please kill me!
Come on, kill me, I'm here! Come on, do it now!
They cry out for help. Their bodies turn black and begin to rot. In a matter of seconds, their pleas stop, and only their bones remain. The heavy breathing of what it surely calls a laugh sends ripples through the cellulite on its body. Cruel and unfeeling thing. The ground shakes. Sweatpants Boy is rubbing blood on its tummy-tum as it comes to join its compatriot. It stops. It begins jerking around. From behind, an axe plants into its shoulder. An incredibly muscular pale man climbs its shoulders. The god of war roars and plants the axe into the monster's face. It begins sobbing wildly. Using the handle to steer, he guides the now blind creature to the pickup truck and knocks it over. The truck beast has been startled and sends another stream of diarrhea, but into its own ranks. The smell of crap blends with charred flesh and burning fedoras. Kratos brutally cleaves the ogre's head in two and leaps headlong into a fresh set of foes. The screaming has caught the one with the diaper's attention. Darius and I run up behind it on either side and slash its hamstrings. The ground rolls underfoot as the creature smacks against it. We clash in unison and cut both hands off from it before it can recover. The thing soils itself as orcs and Uruk-hai swarm over it to finish the job. I survey the battle. The cosplayers have pushed their side in with minimal casualties and are reinforcing our side. I can see skilled arrows slip through tiny gaps in our lines and feather our foes. The store associates have renewed vigor as the massive beasts die. I rush to join them. We kill, and they kill. The fighting is brutal, but they are giving ground. They're coming as quick as I can kill them. My blade a blur, my fatigue completely forgotten. I cut a beast down and step into a clearing. Although the fighting is still raging around me, I can see it. Goku. Its kimono is red with blood, as is its Nihon steel blade. The creature's waiting for me. I harden my grip on my sword. It points at me and shouts, "Obai wabu shinderu!" Nani? It grabs its kimono and rips it off. I turn my head gently to the side and vomit as I gaze upon its nude form. And stretch marks, outlined with body acne everywhere. One nipple is significantly bigger than the other. Its dong never visible under its gigantic fupa. I am ready. We charge at each other. Our blades lock, and we stare daggers into each other's faces. We begin to dance. Swords spark as we catch each other's blows. I parry too late and get stabbed in the shoulder. It falls for a feint, and I slice open its bigger nipple. The abomination doesn't even flinch. I'm beginning to tire. I've had no food for days and had already seen heavy battle. As I slow, I succumb to more cuts all over my body.
Not like this, Witcher. You can't allow yourself to be brought low by a beast such as this.
With a labored blow, I managed to cut into the beast's arm. It thrashes quickly, and my sword is wrenched from my hands. I catch a slice all the way across my face and fall to the ground. Before I can get up, a fungus-riddled foot steps on my chest. Lightning crashes across the sky. The silhouette of the beast's healthy frame flickers in and out of my sight. It laughs. Now that I've showed you who's best, I'll let my ass do the rest. It turns around. The monster's ass crack begins to open as it goes to sit on me. This ass that's never been wiped is to be my coup de grace. No! .jpg. It goes to sit, and I roll away. It plops to the ground, and I crawl away from it. I flip over and watch it struggle to get up. I hear the whine of an engine. An ATV cuts into the clearing and slams full force into Goku. Razor wire entangles it and sends flesh and blood into the air. It goes end over end with its passenger and crashes. Alice, I force myself to stand and hobble over to her. She is bleeding. Her legs and most of her torso are pinned. She smiles at me. Her hand touches my face and falls limp. Her eyes going cold.
Oh, Alice, I feel like we hardly knew ye. I mean, that's because we really didn't. But she did give Witcher a second chance at life, and even a third, all things considered. Rip in peace.
Tears sting my eyes as I cradle her head in my lap and weep. I look up and see the Neckbeards fleeing. They are routed. The cosplayers and store associates are giving chase. I can hear the twang of strings as stoners chase them with bows. Minivans are beginning to leave the lot. Most make it out, but some are stopped. Their occupants dragged out and summarily executed. I can hear Darius scream from nearby, "Victory!" The resounding cheer from the army lasts for minutes. The wounded are starting to get carried away. The bodies of the incels are being stacked and burned. No one has found the corpse of Goku, however. Darius and I managed to get the ATV off of Alice's body. We wrap her in sheets and carry her to the woods. We place her body on the ground and make a cairn over it. There are red and blue flashing lights. The remnants of the army scatter as the police come and see all the bodies. We flee into the forest. This has gone too far. I can no longer sit by and kill only for my tendies and Honey Mussy. The hunt has ended, and the extermination has begun.
Oh man, that last part gave me chills a little bit. There's some hatred in your heart, isn't there?
The sound of splats of failed attempts to devour us with their cooches thunders across the courtyard.
I've never seen clouds like that before!
It's been 2 years since the first battle between Neckbeards and the allied forces of normies. No one expected the creatures to form an army the first time. The social aspects of it defies their very nature. They were routed after a long and arduous conflict that saw the blood of incels and our own spilled across a barren field just outside an event center. After some deliberation, the allied forces joined under the leadership of a man named Darius. I had made my living killing the basement dwellers and looting their good boy point cards in exchange for tendies and Honey Mussy. That day I laid down the path and picked up the mantle of something bigger than myself. Total extermination. The monsters and their ilk could no longer continue to exist. At first, things went well. Homes were searched. The ones that could fit through the door were dragged out into the street. The sun would immolate them immediately. The smell of burning gristle and boiling seed lingered over many neighborhoods and apartment complexes for months. The daywalkers were hacked apart by sword and by axe. Their healthy frames made them easy to find and impossible to hide. We had become complacent. We'd all forgotten of the most important monster hunting rules. Never back your prey into a corner. What happened next shocked us all. A devastating counter-movement happened across the country, all in one day. Massive casualty reports streamed in. Monsters of all kind were fighting in unison, pushing back against our slow but thorough sweep. The Neckbeards had evolved to cooperate. Their bitch mommies had been leased to Chads for gratification in return for protection. History will never forget Good Boy Day. Detailed briefings of soldiers impaled on large meat spears came in, some of them 4 to 5 at a time. A Chad skin cannon had been known to take down dozens of troops before they could be put down effectively. We were woefully unprepared. With the Chads, of course, came the Stacys, the Jocks, the Roasties. Razor-sharp nail extensions and virulent clouds of vape smoke drove our battalions back across all fronts. If only that were the worst of it. I could taste it in the air. My Witcher senses picked up dried seed on the breeze. I spat on the ground and signaled my squad to move forward. The apartment complex we were tasked to clear had been abandoned by regular folk since GB Day. The creatures had taken advantage of their newfound power and killed those who couldn't or wouldn't flee. In many cities, you can still see throwing stars embedded in walls and Nihon steel gashes painted with dried blood. They now nest in these empty buildings like the rascal-riding rats that they are. 2 of my squad goes left across the courtyard. The remaining 2 follow me across the right. I give them the signal for weapons free. Swords and bows come into hands. Something doesn't feel quite right. I look up into the windows and something glances off of my face. An AirPod playing Cardi B falls to the ground.
Now from the top, make it drop. That's some wet and
Roasties! I shout. No sooner than I look back at my team, one of the creatures has dropped to the ground. Sergeant Sheila takes a last-second step back as the roastie falls onto the concrete with a splat where she just was. Its milky white eyes stare at her as it kicks off the ground from a split position. The suction force from the abomination's vagoo takes a large diamond-sized chunk from the pavement. Sheila takes a 2-handed swipe at the beast, but it goes wide. Its large ASU t-shirt that it's wearing as a dress flutters in the wind as it lands on top of a nearby lamppost.
My God, she's agile. Be careful, Witcher.
From below, I can see its bloated beer belly jiggle, and now there's nothing left to my imagination.
Fuck your bad vibes, bro!
Its voice is shrill, and then croaks as I see wide eyes appear all over the rooftops. Get into the building! Yells Sheila as she grabs the soldier next to her. Another drops from high up and nearly misses him. The creature lands on a mailbox and swallows it whole with its ham wallet. The entire mailbox is gone as it kicks off back onto higher ground. Another drops from above me but is met with an arrow from across the courtyard. The shaft pierces its neck as Mango White Claw bleeds from the wound and stains its sport bra and assless yoga pants. The creature breaks its back on the nearby bench and dies with a short shriek. All of us sprint across the courtyard. The sound of splats of failed attempts to devour us with their cooches thunders across the courtyard.
I've never seen clouds like that before.
Okay, game face. The smell of tuna and natty ice reaches my nostrils and I stifle a retch. We make it to the awning over the entrance area, and we hold them off with crossbow bolts and arrows as Sheila pries the door open. Some have the side of their heads shaved, others have eyebrows tattooed on. All are bow-legged and going commando. I can't tell if they're feral or Chad-controlled. "Help me!" shouts Sheila. The door's been barricaded from the inside. 3 of us manage to push it open, and we all get inside the building. Out of the frying pan and into the fire. I can hear the monsters outside, devouring their dead as we pile furniture back against the door. Others are launching themselves vag first against the door, luckily to no avail. My eyes adjust to the interior. The halls are poorly lit by the setting sun outside. The windows are murky and unwashed. The scent of sweaty balls and festering seed is stinging my eyes. We all take dabs of VapoRub from my satchel and dot them underneath our noses. Even my Witcher senses are going to struggle to smell anything through all of this. Judging by the roasties outside and the stench inside, our intel must have been good. We'll have to head to the roof to finish them off after we're done killing the nesters. Roasties are much easier to dispatch when they don't have the high ground. You underestimate my power, .gif. I can't see any lights on or hear any anime being played. Not sure if the power's on in this building at all. The dust on the floor is undisturbed, save for some drag marks along the tiles. Most likely, a garbage bag full of tendies. If not for the smell, the thought of that many tendies would make me hungry. We keep in close formation and move down the hallway. We open doors to empty apartments. Many of the TVs and video games have already been looted. Fridges and freezers left wide open. Black, rotted food dripping out from them. Several couch cushions and children's stuffed animals appear to have been mated with.
This one's got the duck doing all the work.
I keep a close eye on the plush toys because I know it can happen if you don't.
I think it's advisable to burn them before anything happens, Witcher.
No sign of nesters have been here for quite an extended amount of time. This goes on for the next 2 floors as we ascend the complex. We find the occasional Raising Cane's box or My Hero Academia doujinshi, but otherwise, nothing. We've been here for a while now, and the sun's no longer giving out light. Since the others can't drink cat's eye, I give them the okay for a lamp to be lit. It's still so silent. They've been so unpredictable as of late. Would a neckbeard even nest this far up?
I mean, in my research, yeah, they're mostly subterranean, but they do seem to be evolving far beyond our control.
Stairs are a difficult obstacle for neckbeards to overcome. Are they getting supplied so they don't need to make trips? But then, why was the entrance barricaded from the inside? We're up to the 4th floor now, and I've seen no sign of anyone or anything. But then, why is that stench so overwhelming? We get to a door about 3 down from the end of this floor. I go to open it, and it's stuck. Come, help me with this. Sheila puts down the lamp, and with her and another soldier, we manage to slowly open the door, and we walk inside. A large couch has been pushed up against the door. Empty tendy bags are all over the floor. There's torn adult anime and Good Housekeeping magazines covered with wispy seed in a small pile in the corner. A mannequin with Belle Delphine's face duct taped to it rests in another corner.
Oh yeah, that one's definitely a relic at this point.
Belle Delphine, I have an eye fetish. Give me them eyeballs.
They're cereal bowls with Sharpie nipples on the torso. A pyramid of dewy cans has fallen over. Wads of impregnated toilet paper litter the ground like stiff tumbleweeds. In the center of the living room floor, there's an enormous rotting corpse. And with that, we carry on into the second part of Part 10. The thin skin of the corpse had become translucent, and you could see the skeleton's hands wrapped around a katana, going into its belly and somehow miraculously peeking out the back.
Must be the longest katana in the world.
The head leans limply to the side, but the fedora somehow managed to stay on. This Nestor had committed seppuku.
Sir, Anderson's gone.
I turn to see a worried soldier in the doorway.
He was just here, and now he's gone.
We ready weapons and step back out into the hallway. Nothing. I tell everyone to stay frosty. Something isn't right here. The silence has become deafening. I scan the ground and find fresh boot marks on the wall. They go fairly high up. Anderson was kicking it? I turn around to tell the others. Sheila and one of the other soldiers are facing me. Behind them, a long, thick dong is strangling the last member of our squad. I swiftly pull out my crossbow. Sheila and the other soldier duck as I fire a bolt into the shaft of that pink python. There's a yelp, and the member slithers back up into the ceiling as our squad mate drops to the floor. Back to back, now! Cover me! We rush over to him. He grasps at my chainmail as he struggles to breathe. That Peter had crushed his windpipe. His eyes are bulging, bleeding from all the broken blood vessels in them. He's trying to say something, but can't get enough air to say it. I pull him close and embrace him one last time. He goes limp as I break his neck. There's giggling coming from the ceiling. I can hear heavy junk being dragged in the air vents. You fool. They were in the vents the whole time, waiting for us to get just high enough so that we couldn't jump out the windows. Dwarves. Combo breaker!
Well played, Anand. The perfect moment. Okay, sure. Dwarves exist in this universe. Tell me about them, won't you?
Ceiling tiles fall down. Anderson is trying to scream. He's hanging from the ceiling. His pants are down, and he's being violated by one of the creatures. The only thing keeping him from hitting the ground is how far he's being penetrated.
This is awful. I need some air. Okay.
The unholy abomination is giggling with glee as the light from the lamp illuminates its face. With every push, its red cone cap rocks back and forth. Its small white beard is bristling with effort.
This is the wildest thing.
Its tiny flat teeth pressed into a psychotic smile. The private next to me drops his sword and reels back in horror. Sheila raises her sword up and swiftly cuts off Anderson's head. The dwarf screams as the corpse slides off and he quickly retreats into the vents. Gone as quickly as it came, like a trapdoor spider.
Yes, precisely like that.
The tip of that pendulous peen slides out the back of Anderson's disembodied head. That's why he couldn't scream. The private is catatonic. I grab him and pull him inside the apartment as the ceiling begins to vibrate. The giggling is everywhere. Sheila and I barricade the door. It all makes sense now. The smell, the emptiness. Dwarves eviscerate all things. They bang you till you die, and then they do it to your corpse until it is nothingness. The only reason we found the good boy in here is that they couldn't get to him. I've only ever read about these things. They were said to be extinct. My heart is pounding in my ears as the door begins being bashed on. Thick thwacks of meaty Johnsons being slapped against the wood. I can hear them trying to get in through the wall via the ceiling as well.
He's in the walls. He's in the goddamn wall!
What the fuck are we supposed to do now? Asks Sheila. The private hasn't moved. He's just staring at the wall. They fear fire, but they can't truly be killed unless you remove their testicles.
Scientifically, of course.
I'm gonna try and clear a path through them, but you have to take them and go back no matter what. Stay low. Don't you dare to look back and cut anything that moves. If I fall behind, don't come back for me. Understood? Sheila nods her head. She looks unsure about the plan, but steels herself regardless. While we were talking, the private stood and walked toward the window. Oh, shit. I start after him. He opens the window and effortlessly slides out head first. I couldn't make it to him in time. There's a crack against the pavement, quickly followed by landing noises.
Yeah, a bunch of snail trails coming towards him, huh?
I hear the flesh being pulled from his bones as the roasties feast upon him. Fuck me. I close the window. I look at Sheila. Her face never falters. A hardened soldier to the last. We get ready. I give her my firebombs. I go over to the corpse and pull out the katana. I rub the oily leftover blubber from its healthy frame along the cold metal blade. I go over to the door. The giggling is even louder now. There are stress fractures in the wood of the door. I pull the couch away and open it. A swarming pile of dwarves spills in. They were surprised by the sudden giveaway. Horrid things. 80% twig and berries. Some are flaccid. Others have a semi or are completely rock hard. No. Wait. All of them are over 4 feet long. Almost rivals a Chad. They begin to regain their composure, giggling as they bend their implements to quickly move about like an elephant's trunk. I jump back as a firebomb ignites them all. They screech and squeal, but it ultimately goes back to giggling. The giggling never stops. Leap over the pile into the hallway. Fat hogs coming at me from every direction. As I clear the mound of burning dwarves, the blubber on my katana lights. A bright blue flame engulfs the sword as the first cut slices into the horde of love pipes. They all lurch back. Now's our chance. I begin my attack down the hall towards the stairs. Another firebomb goes off as Sheila suppresses the other side and follows after me. The blue flame of my Nihon steel blade sets foes ablaze. I sever as many of the monster's nutsacks as I can and maim any that I can.
This is completely out of control and I love it.
We reach the stairway, and they're dropping from the stairwell onto us. As we ascend, I cut one in half bottom to top as another implement wraps itself around my neck. Before I can reach up to free myself, I hear the air whistle as Sheila's blade slices the dwarf's flesh skewer straight off. The fighting is tough. Many of the dwarves have regenerated since I couldn't get to their testes in time. Between my sword and the firebombs, the side of the building is catching fire. We finally make it to the roof. The fire and noise has scared off some of the roasties, but one launches at me as soon as I step out. I dodge to the side, and my katana cleaves through the creature's bowl-cut bangs as it takes the top of its skull clean off. One of its Ugg boots falls off as the corpse continues off the side of the complex. The dwarves have begun to burst out of the AC vents on the far side of the roof. The roasties that didn't immediately flee are soon swarmed over. I shudder as fresh nightmare fuel graces my eyes. The building is now in flames. The swarm is dying, but still determined to get to us. We're being pushed to the edge. The roar of the inferno does nothing to muffle the giggling. Always giggling. I take a backward glance over the edge. The last of the bombs shakes the air as it stalls the monster's advance. "Do you trust me?" I yell, over the clamor of giggling and burning. "Yes," she tells me. I grab her and pull her close. We lock eyes. In that moment, somewhere between death and chaos, her green irises were the most radiant thing that I'd ever seen. I kiss her as I take us backward over the edge. We crash into the awning below. The canvas broke most of the fall, but I have to take a moment to gather myself as Sheila is grabbing my arm and trying to help me stand up. We get to the street and watch as what looks like giant blazing wieners are falling off of the roof.
There's dwarves attached. You just can't really see them.
There's no telling what all this commotion's going to attract. She says, "We should leap back to base." And I catch a faint smile as I glance over to her. We walk down the road, the light from the fire brightening our path, the deaths of my squad still darkening my thoughts.
Now, there is a side story called the Slurpee Incident, but that seems like it's the end of the original Witcher saga. Sort of a schmaltzy ending, if you'd ask me, but every hero deserves to get the gal in the end, and yeah, they obviously share a love for fight. Although fraternization's not great for a military structure, Witcher seems more like a lone wolf anyway. I had an exchange in the comments with one person who said that they were introduced to this channel by the Urban Witcher, and he said that the Urban Witcher would hate the new t-shirts we made over on Teespring that says "You are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it." that it would be a little bit too saccharine. And here is proof positive that even the Witcher would disagree. Every man deserves to feel loved. Even the neckbeard nice guy incels that the Witcher hunts. If only they would put themselves out there, they probably could become relatively normy. You'll never truly be Chad, but that's okay. None of us really are. Every Chad you know is dealing with his own insecurities. Anyway, we're getting off topic. What was I talking about? Oh, I was going to do the Slurpee incident. Alright, let's knock that one out. Back into character. Here we go. I am a Witcher. My path has led me to the slaughter of many artists. They deserve not the good boy points that I take from them. This is a story from my past, before Veronica. The Slurpee incident. At a gas station, loading up on Dewey to wash down my attendees after a fresh kill. Open the cooler doors to get some code red. The entrance doors jingle. The air carries a scent of essential oils and scentsy and plague. I put the Dewey back and steel myself. I peek over the chips. Sure enough, there's a Veronica. Loose ponytail, hoop earrings, leggings that spill out her belly into a muffin top. Not a muffin that I'd want to take a bite of. Usually, Veronicas are nothing to worry about. Unfortunately, she's accompanied by ankle biters. One is holding onto her leg, wasting away. I doubt that it could even stand on its own. It's become parasitic again. Fascinating. The other ankle biter is fat, wheezing about, knocking over all of the chips. It's covered in some kind of pox. Neither could have slithered out of her more than 4 years ago. They reek of home remedies and a hospice ward. Anti-vaxxers. I quickly open my satchel and down the entire bottle of golden Oreo. I hope that I can stave off the infection. Veronica is listlessly going through the tabloid magazines, not paying attention at all to its own walking regrets. The fat one stumbles over to a customer waiting in line. It opens its mouth and sinks its fangs into the man's leg. "Dude, what the fuck?" He turns quickly and knocks the fat one down. It begins to wail. The Veronica quickly comes to the aid of its spawn.
What'd you do to my little angel?
Lady, your kid just bit me.
Why'd you let that happen? I'll fucking show you.
He doesn't know that you can't reason with a Veronica. It's only capable of one-way communication. I draw my silver sword and quickly coat it with hand sanitizer. The skinny one skitters up its matron's body and onto her shoulder. It coughs directly into the man's face. My God. He takes a step back to find that his leg is already suffering from advanced necroses. As he collapses onto the floor, he spits up blood. His flesh swells and sores appear all over his body. An elongated scream comes to a climax as his skin ruptures and falls away from the muscle and bone. Blood pools on the floor. The fat one goes over and laps it up greedily. The cashier is stunned. The other people in the gas station quickly exit. The Veronica is texting, no longer paying attention. I draw my crossbow and fire a bolt at the withered creature. The bolt goes wide and topples a Coke display. The beast changes shoulders and hisses. I run from behind cover, straight for the Veronica. I punt the fat one. There's a small arc of pus as it flies through the air and connects directly with the Veronica's face. It falls over backwards and slips on the Coke that was all over the floor. I run and jump, pointing my sword downward. Time to end this before it begins. The lizard-like gremlin launches from the ground and latches onto my face. I miss my landing and crash into the candy aisle. It's spitting, coughing, and trying to claw out my eyes. I grab it with one hand and throw it. It lands somewhere out of sight. The Veronica is up and at full fury.
How dare you? You could have broken my phone!
It begins throwing MLM products out of its purse. I roll away and stand to my feet. I bat natural supplements and overpriced perfumes out of the air. Much like their supposed practical applications, they have no effect on me whatsoever.
This is just ambrosia, you know?
The Veronica shrieks. The fat one stops drinking floor soda and rolls into a ball. With surprising speed, it comes towards me. I go for an arcing upward cut. It evades and gets a glancing blow from the flat of my sword. It spins out of control and crashes through the glass pane door into the parking lot. I charge the Veronica. It goes to throw something. It shouts of protest or unintelligible. My senses focus. I jump and twirl through the air.
But like a manly twirl, though.
Now twirl, honey, twirl. And twirl, honey, twirl.
I land on the checkout counter. The Veronica's head sails through the air and gently falls into the cashier's hands.
Shit, what the fuck?
I slap him and put a finger to my mouth. Shh. I can hear it. Like a cockroach. It's darting under the aisles and through the wreckage. It's nimble. Stealthy. I lower myself down slowly, and I walk around the store. The door jingles. A blood and gravel-crusted balloon waddles through the door, the pox on its skin still oozing with pus. My stomach clenches from the stench. Somehow it overpowers even the shitty perfume that permeates the air. Clearly, being non-vaccinated didn't save either of these two from autism. And it rolls into a ball and launches again, its fat rippling like wind in a sail. I line up another slice. It springs mid-roll. My sword passes it in mid-air. It topples me over, and I lose my sword. Before I can gather my senses, my leg sears up with pain. It's bit into my knee, and it's pulling back the kneecap with its teeth. God, it's horrible.
Oh no, not again.
I scream and jam my thumbs into its eyes. The creature squeals, the pus from its sores seeping into my now open knee joint. I hold its head still with my left hand. My knife jams into its neck and severs the spinal column. It goes silent and simply rolls to the side. I still hear the skittering. I painfully stand and push myself up on the drink counter. All is silent. I close my eyes, and then I hear it jump. I open my eyes and snatch the decrepit thing from the air. Deprived of my sword and knife, I open the top of the Slurpee machine, and I jam the creature into it. I hold it in as bubbles plop onto the surface. I can feel its fragile bones begin to snap as the machine catches its legs and begins to blend it into the mixture.
Don't drink the Slurpees, everybody.
The police are suddenly at the door, guns drawn. There's a decapitated corpse. A fat, pox-covered toddler has a knife tip sticking out of its spine. The cashier weeps silently next to a severed head. As they look at me in astonishment, the withered creature presses its face against the side of the machine.
You know the little circle where you can see the Slurpee turning?
Before it's finally killed by the motor. I quickly drop to the floor as the police open fire. They'll never understand the life of a witcher, but it's not their fault. The bullets shatter the glass of the coolers, and I reach in and put some Dewey in my satchel. No need for good boy points. I'll take this as payment. I throw a dancing star bomb in the general direction of the officers, and it explodes. I stand and run. I jump through the front window and land. Adrenaline aids my escape as I run down the street. I am a witcher.
The life of a witcher is short and brutal, but I do hope to see some more from this original saga soon. Maybe it's best left where it is. I'm not sure. There's plenty of other urban witchers to get into and their related lore. For now, I'm going to close the book on it, but yeah, if I feel the need for it, we won't be scared to come back and open something new. So thank you guys for watching. As always, friends, sign up on the Patreon or the YouTube memberships if you would. It really helps us out every single month. You can also check out the Fourth Wall. Like I mentioned, we got a lot of shirts, a lot of merch. You're sure to find something you like. And I'd appreciate it a lot. If you can't afford to do any of that, liking, commenting, subscribing, especially sharing is very important. But if you don't want to do any of these things, if you hated the video, well, I already got your watch time, so I appreciate that a lot. The only thing you could do even more better would be to click another video and watch that. YouTube loves it. I appreciate you guys riding along with me through this extremely wacky ride. And yes, I will indeed see you in the next one, friends. Always remember that you are loved, you are worthy. You definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye.